The assumption on the one who was late. They don't know that though. It's the assumption I can't abide by. They don't accurate ones? No. Accurate ones? No. I can hear you too. No, they can. I got the stream playing. They can hear you. Mm-hmm. I can hear you too. No, they can. I got the stream playing. They can. No, I heard. I heard you. All right. No, I could. I heard. I heard you through the stream. Damn it! Like playing in a browser with sounds and everything. You're not defaulted to your own mic.
Testing, testing. Okay, now you can hear me. No, okay, so you know what happens, right? So I've been having audio issues, and part of the issue, I think, is like my microphone, the Blue Yeti, because I'm still using that damn thing, right? Because I haven't upgraded and I really need to. Gog has told me as much. But, so in OBS, it says Blue Yeti mic, but for whatever reason, every time I open up OBS, it doesn't default to the default microphone, which is that I have set, the Blue Yeti. And I don't know why that is. I'm not unplugging it. So I have to assume that maybe it has something to do with either opening up and closing OBS, but no one else has this problem as far as I know. Or there's something about my computer that just resets all of my OBS settings every time it turns off and on. Because I do reboot my computer with some amount of frequency. So yeah, I haven't figured it out, but granted, I've only...
You mean reboot your computer, like just like restart it, or you mean like a hard reset where you like hold the power button and it goes doo?
Like a restart, not a. I don't hold the power button. You're not supposed to do that unless you're troubleshooting. Polly.
Sometimes you can't avoid it if the computer's frozen and it's not responding. You got no choice.
My computer has not had those kinds of issues in many, many moons because I take care of my NASA computer.
It's not like I verbally berate my computer so it's giving up out of stress. It just every now and then, when you're running 20 programs at the same time and overloading everything, it just, you know.
That's basically the computer equivalent of verbally berating it. That is emotional abuse, Polly.
Verbally berating?
Verbally. Verbally berating.
Oh, verbally berating.
Which, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, now I'm saying it out loud. That's a double... Not double entendre. It's basically repetitious. There you go.
Keep going.
It's repetitive. It's needlessly redundant.
I just want to see how much longer you can spin in that really tight cul-de-sac you were in there.
It's redundant.
It's repetitiously redundant. God.
When Weebo looks at the top of her screen, it's like she's hoping for divine intervention. I am sometimes. Sometimes I need the divine to come into my brain and go, "Hey, stupid, this is the word you're looking for," and that's usually, hopefully, Polly. But he was less than helpful this time around.
I just woke up.
Yeah, and you're not like super smart, like at first thing in the morning.
I'm clearing the cobwebs. I'll get there. It's fine.
Which I just gave you like a whole 15 minutes to clear the cobwebs. How much time do you need?
It's like a Ferrari. It's a fine piece of machinery. You got to give it a minute.
I gave you 15.
So what's going on there, Weebo? How's things?
I had the contractor over today because we figured out why the floor of our breezeway is leaking.
The foregarbery? What?
The floor of our breezeway has been leaking on and off for the last like couple of months since we moved in, and we had no freaking clue why there's water on the floor, just randomly. And
The rain.
no, there was like no leaking from the ceiling, nothing to indicate that there was any sort of condensation coming from above. There was no indication that there was any condensation coming from the walls. So we had like no freaking clue what it was. And then of course underneath there's like there's we thought no water within that general vicinity. So I'm like
Ralph
scratching my
splashing around like an idiot during a bath. Is that it?
No. This was okay. So the bath time shenanigans, completely different flooding issue.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Unless did I already tell you about the bath time disaster?
Yeah.
Okay, I did. Okay. But so we thought there was like no piping underneath the floor in the breezeway. And I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, is there, because, you know, he grew up in this household, his father built the house. You would think that he would know something about the architecture and how it was made and what was going on. And he couldn't think of it. And then I talked to my mom on Wednesday, and I guess she brought it up to him over the weekend. And so he calls me yesterday and he goes, Dear, I've had a thought about it. I think maybe perhaps the bathroom off the garage, because, right, the breezeway is supposed to be the between area that was constructed to bridge the area between the garage and the main house. He said, I think the bathroom
Garage house interstitial, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
He said the bathroom off the garage is fed through piping from the main house underneath the breezeway floor. And I think maybe that when the contractor was like reinforcing the subfloor and re-nailing it in, or not re-nailing, but screwing it in to make sure that it wasn't super creaky, he nicked one of the copper pipes that feeds that bathroom. And that's why it's been intermittently flooding, I guess. So I went to go test it yesterday, and I turned on the faucet, and I walked out of the room, and in a minute, the floor, where it was initially divoting, had bulged up, actually, underneath the subfloor, and there was actually, like, an actual, like, a curve in the vinyl flooring that we'd placed. Or not vinyl flooring, the laminate that we'd laid. So I turned off the water quickly, and then I went to go step on it, and sure enough, there's some water bubbling up from between the cracks of the laminate, and I was like, okay, now I know I'm not going crazy. Thanks, Dad. We got the answer. So I called the contractor. I was like, hey, buddy, get out here. We got to show you something. And so now, probably the next couple of weeks, our breezeway is going to be a hot mess again of construction. They're going to have to probably go in through the garage and shimmy underneath the breezeway floor to get to the pipe that they burst and then fix it. Or they'll go in from the top, remove the subfloor after they remove the laminate, fix the pipe there, and then replace the subfloor with something that's not compromised, and then replace the laminate. Hopefully that takes care of all of our issues over there. But yeah, that's Weebo's adventures in homeowning, summarized over the last 2 months or so. So excited.
I'm picturing some contractor hanging from the ceiling like Ethan Hunt in the first Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, he if he can shimmy in underneath there, then that's probably what's going to be happening. He's going to be like on a little skateboard, just maybe. But it's more likely he's going to have to go in from the top, which means that the new floor that just got laid is going to have to come up. So is the subfloor to get to the area that's problematic. But yeah. And then also our roof is leaking, so yay! And just one specific area in the living room, and it's right over where the piano is, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, well.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's a lot of leaks in that house. From outside, from pipes running through.
It's an old house. Did I show you the picture of the pipe that was in the bathroom that needed to be replaced? I don't think.
Maybe.
Okay, all right. So I'll send it to you again.
All right.
And then we'll share it with the audience because I don't think they got to see it. But it was quite the vision. Ooh, to behold, to see that was what was coming out of my wall. And I'm like, that's probably a lot of the pipes in this place. There's probably several that are compromised to that degree. And I'm not excited to have to replace them all over the coming several years from now. Okay, let me go find it. I think I sent it to Super Nintendo at some point. But yeah, that's just, from what I understand, what happens when you own a home of any variety. There is a risk that it will be compromised in some way. It's not going to be perfect. I hear even new builds actually have a lot of issues these days as well. So even if you buy something that was built like within the last 5 years. All right, I just sent it to you. Let me know when you get it.
Oh, Lord.
Yep. Okay. Let me show
That's something.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Quick. Can I get a glass of drinking water?
A glass of drinking water?
Is that a drainage pipe?
Yes. That's a drainage pipe.
Okay.
And
That's not quite so bad.
Yeah, no, that was a drainage pipe. So what was happening was every single time we would I would take a bath, there was obstruction right here in the long pipe going side to side.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it would back up somewhere down like here, and down here past where you see the big explosive deterioration in the up and down pipe. So it would back up to where the other pipe, the one that's compromised, would be, and it would overflow to spray in the basement actually.
Mm-hmm,
all over my basement fridge, and actually, ironically, over the other bathroom in the basement. And it would just overflow. It would spill out, and it was a lot.
Oh no, my basement fridge.
Mm-hmm. So they had to replace from here.
Wish I had a basement fridge.
Basement
I need
fridge.
Yeah, I need a second fridge, a garage fridge, a basement fridge, whatever.
Well, we actually have 3 fridges. We have Super Nintendo's beer fridge in his office. We have the basement fridge, which is like overflow drinks and frozen snackable bowls, and then the freezer in the basement also, which houses all our spare meat, and then the fridge upstairs, which is like general everyday stuff. All of these fridges, by the way, were inherited, except for the ones that we bought with the house.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ralph's beer fridge a little small one, or is it like a full size one?
No, it's a tiny little small fridge. Like actually,
Nice.
I think it was my brother's college fridge from back in the day.
Nice.
Dana Fulman says Weebo's house was built on an ancient Native American burial ground. I actually don't think so.
Aw.
I
I was hoping you desecrated Indian land.
actually found the old pictures of the house from when it was being built by Grandpa Jones back in the day, which was
And you discovered mass graves don't count as a burial ground?
no.
Oh.
I don't know if it was ever built on an Indian burial ground, but it's like the first developed house in the area for the time. You can see there's like no other houses in the area. No other trees either, mind you. So it's just this house and nothing else in the area surrounding
Weebo,
it.
TPs are their houses. So ignorant.
They're tense, Polly.
Just, they're their homes.
I'm not disputing that, but they're tense. What do you want from me? No, but I don't think.
I was trying to make it seasonally thematic.
Yeah.
Haunted Indians walking around. Or no, haunted Indians. Indians are a haunting walking around.
That's not culturally appropriate, Polly. Did we learn nothing from the last 7 years?
See. You see what's going on here, Chad? Indians don't have souls. Nice, Weebo.
Stop putting words in my mouth. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Have you been watching any Halloween movies?
Yes, I saw 2 over the weekend when I was supposed to be scripting my magnum opus for the year. While I was procrastinating writing my magnum opus for the year. I watched Halloween Town 1 and Halloween Town 2 with Super Nintendo, and it was super cringe.
Halloween Town.
Mm-hmm. Because they're old Disney movies.
Oh, Disney. Okay.
Yeah, they're old Disney, teen movies about a little girl who doesn't know that she's a witch, or that she's one of the members of the Cromwell family of witches, and that she's, one of the most powerful witches, because her mom keeps her in the dark, because she's being a witch is something you'll never understand, da-da-da-da-da. It's a super big deal. You'll never appreciate it. And we never understand why it's such a big deal, but it is.
So this is like Harrietta Potter?
A little bit. Except she doesn't go off to Hogwarts. But she does,
No, she stays home for Cromwell's.
Well, she goes off to visit her grandmother in Halloween Town, which is an alternate dimension place for all Halloween creatures, which is your goblins, your ghosts, your ghouls, your witches, your pumpkin heads, and animatronic skeletons, etc., etc.
Did she go full Weebo when she got there?
What is that?
Complain that they shouldn't be calling an entire pocket realm a town because it's not really definitionally accurate?
No, she doesn't care that much about correct terminology.
Weebo's called out and getting all stuttery.
Excuse me, but that is probably one of my bestest secret weapons that I have under my belt. I don't appreciate you just divulging my best kept secrets like that to the audience, Polly.
It ain't no secret. Everybody knows that you're fastidious about your words.
It's not that I'm just fastidious. It is that it bugs you, and that gives me great endorphins. A great rush of endorphins.
It gives me great endorphins.
Yes.
Okay, so apparently there's a Halloween 3 and 4 according to Darren Reese. Does the other 2 get worse?
I didn't know there were a 4th one. Are you talking about 2 and 3?
Well, you said 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, I did watch 1 and 2, but I was just summarizing the first one. The second one is...
Okay, are these are live action?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. And they're campy, and they're cringy, and they're exactly what you would expect from Disney, because Disney's Disney,
Yeah, cringy.
Well, they're live action, made for TV movies they're just campy, stupid fun, basically. And they're made for kids, so they're made with the idea of having kids in mind. So I and Super Nintendo were watching them for the nostalgia factor, not because we actually adore these films, because they're cinematic masterpieces. It's just,
I hear you.
to spend some time with each other and enjoy each other's company while having some background noise and that we can make fun of that he doesn't care about, because, as you know, Polly, I talk during movies, and he does not always appreciate that commentary that comes...
Sorry, you sort of warbled out. What did Ralph say?
Um, as you know, I talk during
Yeah.
movies.
Oh, you talk during movies. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
No,
superintendent
I
doesn't.
complain, but I'd be a pretty big hypocrite if I did.
Exactly. That's why. That's why we watch movies. It's like it's an experience. We both appreciate each other's commentary. Super Nintendo appreciates it less than you do. So, if we're gonna watch a movie together, I either have to make a concerted effort to shut the fuck up, or we have to watch something that he doesn't really care about.
Or- Fair enough. So are you deliberately selecting movies he's not going to be as focused on just so you can
Oh, he
talk?
suggested it actually.
Really? Halloween Town.
Yeah. He
Oh,
asked
okay.
me. He asked me to sit on the couch and watch a movie with him. I'm like, yes. And he bribed me with pizza. Well, that's the other thing too. If he
Cool.
wants me to keep my mouth shut during a movie, he buys me food, and then my mouth is occupied eating, so I can't make commentary and talk at the same time. Otherwise, it'd be rude.
Well, so I too have been watching some Halloweens.
Yes. 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 Like what?
Um, okay, I watched um, Manhunter.
Manhunter. Like Martian Manhunter?
No,
Oh,
this is the 1986 Michael Mann film.
never heard of it.
Not many people have, sadly. Have you seen the Lecterisms? Like Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal,
Yes.
Red Dragon?
I saw Silence of the Lambs. I've not watched the other two, but I did watch the TV show Hannibal,
Mm-hmm.
which I found to be oddly intriguing and artful. I definitely upped my cooking game after that series. After watching that series, I was like, "Well, if Hannibal can make this look
Mad
like it,
Mikkelsen's a win. You know,
yeah."
always a win.
Oh my gosh, is he? He's like the perfect villain person, like the actor to play a villain. Like he is who I
Oh,
think of
he
when I
is.
think of villain.
He's a LeChouf. His Bond villain is fucking
Yes.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
The fucking the testicle violence, man.
Exceedingly privileged. Yeah, yeah. That one sticks out, I'm sure, for you.
Okay, what this? Yeah. So anyway, this is so the original 1981 novel Red Dragon was first made into a film by Michael Mann, and it's called Manhunter.
Okay.
And then it was subsequently remade by some hack a number of years later into a film called Red Dragon.
How dare they?
Yeah, I know. Like if you wanted to see, and interestingly, the guy who plays Hannibal Lecter is Cox,
Is who?
like Cox, not like Flappy Schlong Cox. What's his name?
Manhunter.
He played William Stryker in X-Men.
Brian Cox?
Brian Cox, thank you very much.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff and things.
William Peterson looks high in this picture for Manhunter.
Yeah, you know what's funny about him? So they're watching, and it's like he's got like the salt and pepper hair going on. So I want to know how old he was, and I looked it up, and he's only 33 in that film. Talk about somebody that when you throw an extra 15, 20 pounds of weight on him, his face is completely different. I'm like, holy shit, that's the guy from CSI.
Is it really?
Yeah.
William Peterson? Or Brian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which CSI?
Vegas. I think Vegas. Oh, no, I don't watch CSI.
No, it looks like it's... Which is the original one? It's not Miami.
CSI OG.
Yeah. The one that ran with what's his face? That's helpful, right? Um, no, maybe it is Las Vegas.
It is a lot of Brian Cox has a lot of
Gil.
video game voicing and whatnot too.
Yeah.
He got the character there, Will Graham,
Yeah.
and he's a really good actor. And Michael Mann tends to get the best out of his actors. I mean, like there isn't much to do when Jamie Foxx is in the movie. I mean, you can try and get the best actor you want out of him, but like it's like getting blood out of a turnip. There's only so much you can do. But his wife was like the most. Ugh. I would like to have sex with you. We should make love. And then she like just lays there like a cadaver.
Oh.
And then like, oh my God, you cannot leave. Like so the attitude that she tries to like make love to her husband before he goes off on this dangerous assignment, being pulled back into work after him almost getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that emotional reaction is the same one that she has when she's saying goodbye to him, is the same one that she has when she finds out there's a serial killer out to get her. You just won the lottery. Oh, wow. That means I am going to be in receipt of very much monies.
Huh? Oh, wow. So she's just got like a one note thing going on?
I think it was called Spiral Staircase.
Oh.
So I watched that, and I watched Halloween 1 and 2. Not Town, just Halloween.
Yeah. That's, it's one with Mike Myers, right? And Jamie Lee Curtis?
It is.
Lee Curtis? Okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah. Laurie Strode. You know, I've discovered that Laurie Strode's father is responsible for everything that happened.
Explain.
Well, he comes out in the morning. If you think about the first 5 minutes of like the original classic Halloween 78, he comes out and says, now remember to go drop that paperwork off at the Myers house. She's like, okay, Dad. He's like, well, don't forget. No, I don't have time to go by. You do it. And she's like, yeah, Dad, I'll do it. If that motherfucker had just went and dropped the paperwork off himself, or hired FedEx, or had mailed it in time, his daughter wouldn't have gone over there. Mike Myers, who was an escaped mental patient that was hiding inside of his old house, creeping and staring out the window, wouldn't have seen Laurie Strode, and then decided to get fixated on her because he is an escaped mental patient, and they get fixated on things. With murderous intent, when they subsequently gone on to kill Annie and her other friend and his boyfriend, who looked a lot like Jeffrey Dahmer. There's something odd about Michael Myers killing Jeffrey Dahmer.
It kind of works, though, right?
Yeah, it had like a Dexter thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Serial killer killing serial killer.
It works. But also, it doesn't, because serial killer bad. But anyway.
See, if he had just had his shit together, he wouldn't have had to send his daughter off to go do his real estate work. And none of this would have happened. Both his friends would still be alive. His boyfriend would still be alive.
I disagree. As someone who has looked into the extended lore behind Mike Myers, from what I understand, I wasn't gonna bother.
He would have never come to find out that Laurie Strode was his. If you want to accept the lore from beyond the Halloween 3 season of the witch, which is unconnected, from 4 and beyond, the Thorn cult would have become unknown to her, and nobody would have known that she and Jamie Lloyd, what's her name?
Oh.
The nephew there, Michael Myers' niece, would have had. See, the whole thing could have been avoided. That guy just did his own damn work.
No, because like an escaped mental patient with a vicious intent to murder, right? He would have found something else to fixate on, and then the movie would have just been about a whole new set of characters.
The next person who comes up to, okay, fair enough, but the next person who comes up to that house to fuck around is that stupid little brat Lonnie, the one that made whatever the kid's name was that Laurie Strode was babysitting drop his pumpkin. That guy was a bully. The boogeyman's gonna get you. The boogeyman. The boogeyman. Kid gets scared and runs away and trips and falls on his pumpkin and crushes it. That he's a bully. That kid's name is Lonnie, and he was the next one to approach that house, and nothing of value would have been lost if Mike Myers would have taken him out.
He doesn't return to the house. Like, Laurie is not in his old house, is she?
Wait, he's in the house. She approaches the house and drops some paperwork off at the front door.
15 years later, he escapes Smith Grove Sanitarium and returns to his hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, where he stalks a teenage babysitter named Laurie Strode. It doesn't say whether or not... Wait, he wouldn't have gotten it, like, attached to her specifically. Now I gotta remember the whole movie because, like, it's been, I think, a whole year. I think we watched this last year, did we not?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
He's inside the front door, and she walks up to drop the paperwork off, and he's sitting inside going, breathing as he does, and he gets fixated on Strode there.
I don't remember that part.
As she strode away.
God damn it. See, I thought she was babysitting the kids. I thought I remember she was babysitting kids at what used to be his house, and that's why he was targeting them.
No?
You know, he returned to the scene of the crime.
That probably would have made more sense. So he fixated on her lightning quick. Okay. It's something that I, like, just for walking up to his house, and it wasn't because, like, she had violated the sanctity of his property line or whatever. No, it was just, he was just hanging out at the house because he had escaped, and I don't know, didn't have anywhere else to go, I guess. He just went back to the scene of his crime from when he was a kid, when he stabbed out his older sister. But anywho, it's something I realized just this viewing. Laurie is sitting there in class, and the entire point of the theme of the literature class that she's sitting in is the notion of fate. And it's like, she's like dazed and staring out the window and thinks that she sees this shadowy character on the horizon just kind of like staring at her.
Yeah.
And she's like, Miss Strode, pay attention. Now, what was the contrast the theme of the two writers? And she goes into this speech about, like, well, they had different views on fate. For one guy, fate was something that came about by your own actions. For the other person, fate was something of the world that wasn't in your control. It was a destiny, like an element, like air, water, fire, or earth. It just imposed itself upon you. And that's when she notices Michael outside, and I'm like, oh my God, that's actually really well written. This notion that it's not that she did anything. It was just her fate to be stalked by this horrible guy. He imposed himself upon her situation.
I appreciate, decent writing about the theme that foreshadows. Apparently, Assassin of the Grey watched it last night. Mike Myers uses his old house as a base when he arrives. If only they read the chat where there's someone who saw it last night. I'm reading the chat. What do you want from me?
Well, I mean, I guess he sort of uses it as a base, but only in as much as he's there, and that's where he spots Laurie from, and he's parked up the street when Hair Trigger Loomis spots the station wagon that he stole from Hair Trigger Loomis and Chain Smoking Nurse.
Hair Trigger Loomis and Chain Smoking Nurse.
Yeah, like when we watch movies, like I give people names, like
you give people names. I thought that was me.
No, you're quite good at it, like Detective Blue Pill and whatnot. Like,
Detective Blue Pill butt stuff and brass knuckles.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
See, I have this theory.
Yeah.
Everyone's always talking about Laurie Strode's story, what happened when Michael escaped. I think they've got it all wrong. Okay. Halloween 1 and 2, it's Loomis's story. See, he is this administratively bogged down psychiatrist who is trying to explain to everybody, to very poor effect, Not because he's not trying. They just how dangerous this Myers character is.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that what's going on behind that blank stare. That it's just pure evil behind those eyes, and he's just waiting for the day. That's why Loomis in that first scene is sitting there talking about we need to keep him pumped up with Thorazine. It's like he'll barely be able to stay awake. That's the idea, chain smoking nurse. And Loomis understands the danger. That's why he's packing heat.
He's like, this man is a
Yeah,
demon sent from the netherworld.
You know how many people he nearly blew away in that movie? That's why I call him Hair Trigger Loomis. And I don't blame him. He knows what's going on. He almost blew away Annie's father, the chief of police there.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Swan? No, wrong franchise. That's Mustache Dad.
Mustache Dad.
So yeah, I think that the Halloween story is actually Loomis's story.
Fair.
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you?
Every time that gets me. Thank you, the next 6 minutes, for the donation. 314. Not sure if the cold front has hit your neck of the woods, but there is one on the way. Anyhow, your hoodie collection would be good, I would imagine. Anyhow, have a happy Halloween, weebs. I'm on vacation, so I have ample editing time and scary movie time. Well, indeed. Happy Halloween, everybody. And yeah, it is cold, so get yourself some layers, whatever that means to you. Honestly, I need to revamp the merch. I need to come up with like a decent brand logo thing to put on a t-shirt for reasons. I need to do a lot of stuff though.
You mean like a logo, like just your name, or
not like my
the
name,
whole
but
graphic design and everything?
Like something that represents Weebo.
Like that poster off to your left, right behind you?
Do you think that would look good on a t-shirt? Do you think I can make that work?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. Yeah. I gotta say, I mean, it's that image of your face is, it's the same image 3 different times using the ink stamp filter.
Yeah.
In Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised how well it turned out. Like that's not skill. That's just a happy accident that it turned out that well.
It did turn out very well, but I think
it's very because it is just like an outline of your face, and then whatever the hell, but it really does look like you, and that's what I mean by happy accident.
Yeah.
And plus, you look cool.
Indeed, I do look fantastic with my gun in my suit.
Yeah.
I think
you remember the picture that's from?
What picture is that from?
The you're giving a snotty, judgmental look. You're wearing your what's it called? A choir gown to look like a judge's robe, and you're reading out of a book that you then snap shut like you're reading the law.
Oh! This is from a video. I know. Maybe exactly. No, I don't know which video that's from. But I remember making that specific scene for that specific video. I just don't remember which video it's from. I've done a lot.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed. You got a point. That it is Dr. Hair Trigger Loomis. Yeah.
Indeed. I think it would make a fantastic t-shirt. I just don't think that I'd be able to sell it with the word Scarface on it. I think those are copywritten or trademark.
You would think so, but I mean, I'm seeing his real name is Brad Jordan, and he goes by Scarface publicly, and
maybe
he seems to have gotten away with it for many, many, many years.
I don't know. I just know that I've had merch get taken down for being even tangentially related to someone else's copyright. So really? I don't think.
Did you get a cease and desist note?
Not a cease and desist, but like Redbubble specifically took the merch down because they were like, nope, this is too close to this other thing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
okay.
I know that for sure they wouldn't let me sell anything. But this was after I think someone reported it, and they were like, we don't like this. You can no longer sell this.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Was it by a particular litigious company like Disney or whoever?
I don't.
It was at this moment that he knew.
So.
He fucked up.
I don't know.
Hold on here.
I'm gonna throw this one before I drink from it once more.
Hey, you Polydub, I've been DMing you like totes awesomely lately. Anywho, if you'd be interested in beta reading a book character inspired by you, as in you can, yeah, it'd be fun because Polly is fun. Yeah, I would. Oh yeah, there you are with some DMs right there. The Google Doc is up. Hit me up if you're interested. Okay, I'll read the Google Doc. All right, yeah, yeah.
I also have to read the Google Doc, but I have like 2 other projects that I gotta get back on track with before I can actually even begin to pursue that. I first have to get the Halloween special launched. That's coming on Tuesday, and then I have to get back on track with my my writing goal, which I'm behind on. Like I'm really behind on. I think I'm like, where am I supposed to be currently? As of what day is it today? As of the
Sunday.
26th, I'm supposed to be at 69,600 words, and I think I am only at 68,000 words. But like if I really,
All
really,
great artists work on a tightly numerically defined time schedule.
yes, at least I do.
Art on an
No,
assembly line.
I feel like it's better for me if I have like a goal to work towards on a decent schedule so that way I'm actually accomplishing something. And it has worked for me. That's how I've gotten to the point where I've written the entirety of the like the the Bible, as it were, for the lore, and then it's how I've gotten so far into the actual first book itself, for the narrative. So if I hadn't been keeping myself on such a schedule, I don't think that I would have gotten to this point because previously when I've attempted to write the book, um, I've always like had bursts of inspiration and then just kind of fallen off and let it go. But if I have an actual goal that I'm sticking to, that I'm adhering to, that I'm like working towards, I can actually apparently accomplish something. Kind of like deadlines in college.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, I work better with that kind of a structure if I have like some sort of deadline that I'm working towards. Because then it feels achievable, you know? And even if it's shit, even if it's not great, at least I'm getting the ideas onto paper, you know? The next 6 minutes says he had a page count limit on your manuscript. Yeah? Are you sure about that? I've seen the total pages for the entire manuscript. That's only the first 8 chapters that you sent to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay then.
The next 6 minutes has a hefty manuscript. It's put me to shame.
You're not competition with them.
No, it's not a competition, but like,
It's just I like being better than everyone.
no. It's just, it makes me feel like a slacker.
Not that you're in competition with anyone.
If we can't measure ourselves against our peers to assess where we are, what are we doing? I don't know.
The only person you need to be better than is who you were yesterday, young lady.
Oh. I appreciate that. I actually think that that is profound, and yeah, that works.
I got it from a greeting card.
I accept that. Hey, that's some wisdom right there.
It's like Pinterest. It's full of wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Do you spend
Not
a lot
bland
of
affirmational statements made by wine moms.
Do you spend a lot of time on Pinterest?
No.
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 Are you lying to me, Polly?
No.
Where else do you
I'm not
get your graphics for your your graphics for your stream?
Yandex.
Oh. I spend a lot of time on Pinterest these days.
Are you also writing up bland affirmational statements for wine moms?
No. I need inspiration for my wedding.
Be the author of your own life. Written in the sand on the beach during a sunrise. Like that's the kind of shit that, yeah.
I also need inspiration for some of my characters. There's decent art on Pinterest actually for concepts for the people that I'm like manifesting in my head.
Weebo's not an artist. She's a
Visionary.
mentat.
A mentat? What's a mentat? That's an actual
Oh.
word?
I don't know. I'm not even sure if that's what that says. Hold on.
Mentat?
Yeah, it looks like mentat.
Mentat.
Mentat from Dunn can't read under the stupid heart thing in the corner of the chat. I'm so sick of that thing.
Is a fictional
Look at these
profession.
faces. That's how I feel every time I can't read what somebody typed because the stupid faces are in the way. It's a drug in Fallout.
Mentats are from the Dune universe and are humans trained to mimic computers. Human minds developed to staggering heights of cognitive and analytical ability. You know, I don't appreciate being called out like that in Assassins of the Grey. And, how dare you so astutely assess exactly how it is that I view my own self?
I want to know what the hell kind of snake was in that bag
What?
in Dune.
I've not seen Dune. I've not read Dune. It's on my list of things to do. But like I said, things are taking a backseat until I get caught up with all of my other shenanigans, my projects.
See, before that McLaughlin guy went off to run a strip joint in Las Vegas, he was the prince of House Harkonnen and got hooked on spice for a little while, and then saw a mouse shape on the moon and named himself after it, and that meant some desert chick, and they mingled their water. See, it sounds like I'm insane, but that's actually Dune.
Yeah, I feel like I just had a stroke listening to you. I was like, what is Polly talking about?
I mean, it wasn't well told at all what I said, but those really are elements from Dune.
So is it worth the read/watch, or one versus the other?
If you are going to read it, from what I understand, I've never read it, but if you are going to read it, from what I've understood, it's if you're really into world building and deep lore and expansive universe, again, detail, but them books is all your things. You just love it.
Okay.
Paul Atreides of House Atreides. What's their enemy was House Harkonnen? No, seriously.
I don't know.
And before Jean-Luc Picard decided to join Starfleet, he was working for Paul Atreides and teaching him how to pixel fight.
Harkonnen were the enemy, apparently.
Okay. So
None of this means anything to me.
They get these giant blurry pixel shields, and the slow-moving knife penetrates. You can't stab. You can't stab quick. You gotta stab slow. But that doesn't matter because Paul Atreides found out that his own name that it was a killing word because he knows the weirding way, and so they pick up these weapons and they say their own name, and his name means like space mouse on the moon. So he's like space mouse on the moon, and it would fire explosive charges or whatever. I've seen the movie. It just made no sense to me, so I just kind of roll with my weird description. See, anyone who's seen Dune knows what I'm talking about. They're like, just Polly's insane, but seriously, tell me I'm wrong. Sting was in Dune. A whole lot of Sting was in Dune. He emerges from this transportation chamber and he's all greasy and mostly naked. It's really big gay porn, honestly. Softcore, mind you.
Oh. Fun.
Muad'Dib. That's right. Yeah. What's that mouse-shaped depression on the moon? We call that Muad'Dim. Now hold on, let me adjust this tube up my nose.
For a movie that you have not seen? Or you have seen it?
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh, the new
I
one?
enjoy
The old
watching it
one?
because of the pants-shittingly crazy movie that it is. They're trying to take a universe that's just wildly expansive and so detailed and cram it into this little 2-hour section that, like, they don't tell you about the jihad that they had, where they got rid of all of the thinking machines that became like totally haram to make a thinking machine. That they don't have computers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No computational, as they call them, thinking computers are you cannot have them. And they went on this great crusade to rid the whole universe of them.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way that you can transport across all of the distances of the space uh, empires and whatnot that the various houses have
Mm-hmm.
is that these big, huge, mutated dudes that have gotten all meth heady and funky and mutated from having taken too much spice, they can see through the warps and ripples of the universe or whatever, and they're the ones that you need to rely on for space travel. Like, I mean, it's just so detailed. The movie starts off with Virginia Madsen just staring at the screen going, "Hello, I'm going to exposit for 5 minutes. Look
Oh.
into my eyes while I explain a lot." I
Is it at all as interesting as like the introduction to Lord of the Rings, which actually, in my opinion, was actually rather well done, considering you're not supposed to start a movie with narration
Oh
and
yeah, the
exposition.
sandworms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are you trying to tell me that Star Wars is badly done? That starts off with floating exposition in space.
I mean, while it is iconic, it's not the best. There are better ways. There are more.
Snoopy. He
There.
starts off with Virginia Madsen. Yeah, spice rack. Get it? It makes your eyes go blue,
Well, already.
and you can see through stuff. It's got something to do with the giant sandworms.
Sandworms. That means Beetlejuice has been to the Dune universe as the smoking rat.
Good point. And whenever you want to like confuse the sandworms, you just start like a really bad rave.
Wouldn't that also mean that Beetlejuice has been to the Star Wars universe? Because aren't there sandworms? Like the big sandworm? The one that they almost shoved Luke into in... Was it the third movie? I think it was the third movie.
That's my favorite part when they're trying to distract and draw the worms.
Yeah.
Yeah, they drop this drum machine and speaker unit into the sand, and it starts putting out a steady EDM beat. Thump, 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 thump. See, the worms are attracted to vibration, and so when they start a rave, the worms
Gotcha.
don't know what to... Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so for whatever reason, the Streamlabs alerts did not work for Assassins of the Great Donation, so I'll just read it out here. Tilder, you are hundreds of pounds of brain crammed into a tiny body. Despite his pretenses, Polly is an uncultured swine. Polly, are you gonna take that?
I didn't... You kind of warbled out. Despite his pretenses, Polly is what?
An uncultured swine. Are you gonna take that?
Am I going to take accurate descriptions? Sure, why not?
Oh, okay. Well, just as long as you're okay with it.
Solve a problem like Maria.
Oh, never mind. It does. It did work. And I forgot that was the donation for the $10.
Timing was a little off. It's fine.
No, you. Don't talk to me about timing. Your cheese cat is off by like a fraction of a second, Polly. And you haven't fixed it yet.
Oh yeah, I haven't had Cheese Cat up in a hot minute.
Yeah.
My
Cheese
my Halloween donations are up right now.
Ah. Very good.
Some
very
of them
good.
are. Yeah.
Some of them.
Oh, I get it. There's a Sarlacc pit. The Sarlacc monster in the pit of Cocoon. You'll be slowly digested over a period of 1,000 years
Oh, no.
because somehow you're given sustenance and oxygen down there.
Well, the Sarlacc probably breathes, right? Like, it inhales or something. Here. We have... Hang on. Hold on. Apparently, someone has come up with the anatomy of the Sarlacc pit. No, I don't want to save the image. Go away. Not to my Rome folder. Open image in new tab. There we go. There is a whole scientific analysis.
Oh, wow.
Mm,
That's disgusting.
yeah. So
Hey,
yeah,
it's not a worm. I hear you, George.
Okay,
Sorrow. It's
no.
not a worm.
it's much more than a worm.
It's a disgusting. But it's a disgusting. I'm just going to stop there.
Yeah. Plus, if you're being digested over the course of 1,000 years, you don't have to be alive for that.
Yeah, I mean, Boba Fett ended up down in there. He should have blown his head off.
Yeah. Didn't he survive? Or no, he didn't survive.
No, I think there's extended universe shit where he totally gets out of there.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I don't know extended universe very well, but that's what I thought. I thought twice he got out of there twice.
Twice? Seriously? So, hang on. Okay, the site of Boba Fett's eventual escape. Yep, no, he does escape. Hang on. Multiple hearts paired with multiple lungs. Sand trap. Moisture gathering roots. Is this a plant or is this a creature? I can't actually tell. Inward pointing teeth preventing victims from escaping. Tranquilizing poisons, immobilizing prey. Slower digestive route for more intellectually stimulating victims. Okay, so there's 2 digestive routes. Transport tentacles place prey in specific areas of main stomach. Humanoid prey from one of Jabba's previous visits. This is actually really, really, like, thorough, robust lore. Parasite male remains attached to female for life. Okay, apparently that's a male. Unfortunate something. Anyway, yeah, this is disgusting and gross and apparently not a worm. My bad. I did not think that it was not a worm. I totally thought it was a worm. But wait, there is a worm in Star Wars, is there not? There's the meteorite worm.
Asteroid space worms.
Yep, that one. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Asteroid space worms, which do they have a creature thing?
I'm going to say yes. Their entire life cycle and history in the universe and where they fit into their taxonomic nomenclature structure of a galaxy far, far away. Yeah.
Exogorth, the Wikipedia. It's got an entire Wikipedia article. Of course it does. You know, someday, something that I will have created will have an extensive extended universe to rival that of Star Wars. That's my personal dream.
You want people adding to your universe, naming things you never named?
No. Not so much that, but like it'll have, because I'll already have been super thorough with my extended universe, but like it'll have an entire Wikipedia of articles dedicated to fleshing out exactly what it is. Because, like, I've already built the lore Bible, as it were. So they can just, go ham with that and translate it into basically, well, like the Star Trek extended universe. Doesn't it have an entire Wikipedia itself that people maintain based off of what is already in the Star Trek universe?
Yeah, I'm an editor on the canon one, which is Memory Alpha, and then all the extended non-canonical stuff is Memory Beta.
Exactly. So like there's that.
I feel bad for Star Wars fans, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a Star Wars fan. It's just Lucasfilm, after being purchased by Disney, added, I mean, there's something we can share and commiserate when corporations decide to start screwing with the good solid canon and turn it into crap,
Yeah.
like the extended universe stuff.
You know who I really, really feel sorry for?
What's that?
You know who I really feel sorry for in terms of, like, if you want to get really sympathetic with people who are fans of things.
Whoies?
Huh?
That's Doctor Who? Whoies?
No, those are Whovians, I thought.
No, Whoies.
No. No. That's not the fan name. But anyway, no, anyone who's like a fan of Marvel DC comics that has to like put up with the multiverse shenanigans and track all of the comic lore and the various, not retcons, but like reboots that happen every 10 years or so now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's atrocious. It's terrible.
I mean, Memory Alpha's gone to hell since the expensive corporate fan fiction that they call modern Trek, like everything Star Trek Discovery and up, which doesn't count. Is Star Trek Enterprise and back? That's canon. I don't want to hear about that other crap. What's up? What are we staring at?
I'm just thinking about. So I told you I'm writing the Halloween special on like the Roman history, kind of, and how
We're
that
just trying to think like a man, guys. It's just
women can think about the Roman Empire too, Polly. Thanks.
yeah, but then you make it like Dynasty or Knots Landing, and it all becomes about like palace intrigue and what woman is supplanting some other woman because women undermine each other constantly when just...
Is that not also part of Roman history though? Like,
no, proper male intrigue, the fight for power and supremacy and vying against each other in terms of espionage and undermining each other politically through attacking one's power base and then going to war and getting your legions ready. Manly men.
and you don't think that the men of Rome used every asset that they had at their disposal in order to exact that, which was their desires? Amy?
No, there's nothing wrong with sending a poisoned concubine to someone to screw them up so you can...
Well, that's not quite the full
poisoned
extent.
concubine. Like, the way you would send someone, like a poisoned apple or something. Or...
Is she like riddled with genital warts or something? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a poison ivy style. Like, I put toxic lipstick on her. Ha
Okay, so like the Roman history books, very extensive, very broad, a lot of information there to attempt to even try to condense, and to an extent some of it is probably fan fiction by the Romans for the Romans, and not probably, it most definitely is.
Oh man, you ever read like histories written by Plutarch? That's totally fan fiction. But go on, you were saying.
Okay, right. So you're just thinking about, I'm just thinking about like the entirety of Roman history being in part probably fan fiction by the Romans for the Romans. Like there is canon Rome, but then also the archaeological record suggests that some of the previously canon Rome is actually just fantastical retellings of, or not retellings, but manufactured stories by Roman authorities in order to create a narrative for the Roman people that better control the Roman people, right? So we have that.
No, it's true. It's like Romulus and Remus weren't toddlers at all. There were a couple of hobo youths that just like hung out in a glade called Wolf's Den.
Yeah, totally.
There never was a she-wolf who raised them. They were just hobos on the edge of the River Tiber.
Sure. Yes, that's the most accurate retelling. But what I mean...
Polly, more smash here.
What's interesting is to be able to, like, take that, everything that you know about Rome, and go, a lot of this probably didn't actually happen. What they're telling about themselves is probably just fantastical. And then to think about it and recontextualize that and the motives behind the Romans into what happens today with fiction and with not just fiction, but also nonfiction, how things are recontextualized or rewritten, and how things will eventually be remembered like 2,000 years from now. Even though we have the internet, digital copies will probably not last 2,000 years. Or some of them might not, depending on how things get archived.
Let's hear it for the written word, printed word. Woo!
Exactly. Because at least, stone carvings into things don't go anywhere. But
That's why you need to go full Constantine and put your giant face everywhere.
Exactly. It is interesting to think about, broadly speaking, now that I'm like assessing Rome currently from a current day perspective, how we will be assessed from a future perspective by future humans based off of what we write about now. Like, what will survive? What will the canon histories be of today? You ever think about that?
Yeah. How badly the stories will get screwed up, sure. See, I don't buy this stupid truism precept that history's written by the victors. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, yes, of course, in a number of circumstances that does turn out to be true, that history's written by the victors and they invariably write it to their own advantage. Unless, of course, you live in 2023 where it's written to our extreme disadvantage because the West has largely been, victorious. The evil racist colonizers who deserve to be destroyed after poisoning the planet, and Mother Nature will reap vengeance upon the planet rapers.
Mother Nature will be fine.
Mother Nature will be fine. She's far more robust of a gal than they give her credit for,
She survived, what was it, 5 separate extinction level events? I think we're gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't buy that 6th extinction crap.
Oh?
No.
No?
As soon as you can explain the Cambrian explosion to me, I'll start listening to your great epoch theory of extinctionisms.
These 6...
I'm the definition of a little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Yeah? Yeah. Not dangerous. Maybe annoying.
Yeah, annoying. A little knowledge is an annoying thing. See, now that would be a fun series to do, Weebo.
Yeah.
We'll take like a smattering of like 8 or 9 facts about Rome and then weave this ridiculous story off of it. It's largely, modern pop culture that we've woven into it. And that's when Doc Brown decided to get the flux capacitor working. So he went down to the Vestal Virgins at the temple and wait, what the hell's
Oh, I'm so glad that you brought that up because actually I do have an alt account on Twitter dedicated to fake Roman history facts.
Oh yeah.
I told you about this?
Yeah. I've seen some of the links that you posted. Fake facts about Rome every day.
Yeah. I've been
A
slacking.
vomitorium is a place where men, to compete with each other, would show up and see what the greater distance they could projectile vomit to was. The vomitorium.
Yes, the vomitorium. It's surprisingly easy because they sound like they could be real, but they're not, and that's the whole premise is what is true. Because there's a lot about Roman history that is absolutely insane. Like, most of everything to do with Caligula is insane.
I choose to believe he did start a war with Poseidon. Or Waterman. Yeah.
Waterman. Was it Neptune, I think?
Neptune, thank you.
Is the Roman equivalent.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. Poseidon ain't Roman.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around? I lose track of which is which.
Really?
Yeah, Jupiter, Zeus. No, that one I keep straight. Zeus is Greek. Jupiter's Roman.
Yep.
Jupiter, Optimus, Maximus. Those ridiculous clowns would sit there and chant for 10 days straight.
Jupiter, Optimus, Maximus.
Yeah, if you're ever looking to like come up with like a Roman name, like, to Romanize yourself.
Right.
Put Maximus in there as like your middle name. I mean, they didn't have middle names, but like it always works. I'm
Wait.
Paulius Maximus.
It's hang on. The in every single like historical Roman person that I've been pulling for this stupid freaking video that I'm writing, they always have like 3 names.
Uh-huh.
Is the middle name not the middle name or a middle name?
It goes. Okay, I always think of Gaius Julius Caesar to explain it.
Yeah.
To
Gaius-
remind myself of it. Gaius is his actual first name.
Is it?
Julius is because he was of the house of the Julii.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's larger family, extended family. You know what I mean? In the sense of like clan and then larger overall family lineage.
Okay.
Because he and his whole group were
We're of the Caesars.
yeah, like descended from Venus. That's their
Okay.
somebody way back had sex with Venus, and like that's what led to their whole whatchamactwiddle.
Okay. What about when you have 4 names? Like one of the Brutuses in the story has 4 names. I can actually pull it up right here because I was writing
Excuse
that
me?
part.
Brudi.
Oh, sorry. One of the Bruti? No.
Brutuses?
No.
You
Bruti?
you don't pluralize in Latin like you do in English.
I never took Latin. I took ancient Greek. Sue
Well,
me. Did you take
Get
Latin?
classical. No.
Well, then
But
how do you know? How do you know, Polly? How do you know?
What did we just say? A little knowledge is an annoying thing. Okay? I know just enough to be obnoxious.
Oh, that's fair. Yes, okay. Decimius, Junius, Brutus, Albinus. The second Brutus. The one that was in Julius Caesar's will. 4 names.
There was a Bruti in his will?
Yeah. In the second version of his will. The second declaration of his will. He names the second Brutus.
The one who was killed at Actium? That Brutus? Like at 2 Brute? The guy like shanked him up on the Senate floor?
No, the other Brutus, although he loved both very dearly, or cared for either dearly. But they were both involved in his assassination attempt. So there's 2 Bruti. No, 2 Bruti.
Damn Latin conjugations.
Right? Oh my gosh. You know who would love this conversation? Is Balak.
Yeah?
Yeah. The man, the myth, the
Oh,
legend
yeah,
himself.
Yeah, right. Of course he would. Yeah.
Because, like, his whole... Like, I think... He was this close to double majoring in Latin in addition to classical archaeology. Majoring in classical archaeology. Yeah.
That's cool. See?
Unless
Men in Rome.
maybe he
Stay in your
did.
lane, Weebo. Jeez.
Excuse me.
Where are we
Classical
going?
antiquity is my lane.
Classical antiquity. You think about that for a second.
Yes, there's Bronze Age antiquity, there's classical antiquity, there's Iron Age antiquity. Like, what do you want from me?
No, there's early, middle, late, no?
No.
I often give people sinus headaches. You know how often I say things and women grab the bridge of their nose and go, oh.
I bet it's quite frequently, Polly. You know, a little knowledge is a great annoyance, but so is a little ignorance.
You know what the great thing, Dan Foreman? He says, I thought Latin was a dead language. Indeed it is. The beauty
It lives
of a dead
on.
language. What?
It lives on in English and other Romance languages.
Sure. But it's frozen. It's unlike organic languages. There's no constant change, like a living language. It's not going to organically change and so on because people are speaking it and new
Yeah.
words and whatnot. So it's frozen in its meaning. It's frozen in its structure. It's not frozen. It's fixed. It's become fixed. So it's very solid in the way that it works. And somebody who does Latin, I know, that was explaining this to me, and it's like, yeah, that's why you can use a, yeah, 1700 would be the last time, 1700 year ago, language, last time it was used organically, like, in a full broad across a wide area of spaces and people language. And you can still use it today to write tracts, like the Roman Catholic Church. It's still the official language of the Roman Catholic Church, Latin. It's like, why use such an old language? Because it's fixed, and the meaning is fixed, and the way that you talk is fixed. So it's a truly global language in that way. It's like, learn the rules of this language, and then we're all speaking it, as opposed to, oh, well, here's a fun one for you. What's the meaning of racism? Well, it means, like, when you're prejudging a given person in terms of value statements based upon their immutable characteristics of ethnicity and etc. And then, ordinating the value of them accordingly. Racism. And it's no, it's prejudice plus power, which means anyone I don't like, I can claim as authority, even though I'm like, right. And that's how a billionaire like Oprah Winfrey can claim to be a victim, because she has no power. The fuck are you talking about? Just, as well as lawyers using the language, yeah, very consistent, long-standing concepts, etc. It's I just hadn't thought about it along those lines before, and I'm like, that's an interesting point.
That is very interesting. And I like how you just casually shuffled onto your soapbox there, Polly, just for like a hot second.
How you what? I didn't. You kinda cut out the
Casually shuffled onto your soapbox just for a hot second there. Gotta get that dig about Oprah in there just a little bit.
Well, okay. Somebody asked earlier, if Romulus and Remus were hobos, how'd they pick up women? Well, Jason Momoa managed it, and he's a little better than a hobo.
I actually know how this worked. First, Romulus killed Remus, right? So that was the end of that. And then Romulus, upon the...
That brought a swift end to that story arc.
Right, so that just, know how Contraro was. And then Romulus...
And then Jupiter showed up and asked, where's Romulus? And he says, am I my brother's keep? Wait, hold on, I'm mixing lore.
No, wrong fratricide story. No, this is the more etymologically important fratricide story that ever existed. Probably. Definitely. No,
Sybilcide, I prefer.
No, fratricide. Because the one that
you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. I was trying to figure out a what aside the other day, and I couldn't remember what it was. Go on, tell your story. I'll remember. I was trying to figure out, like, this little thing has got to mean something, and that's when I found out about megacide.
What's that?
It was when you're trying to kill off all life everywhere at once. It's listed on the Wikipedia. The Wikipedia article for types of
Killing?
exicide, like all
Yeah.
the various, like, regicide and patricide and so on, right? There's some in there that are absolutely farcical. Come on, fuck you. This is stupid. No one has ever said that, and if they did, it was in the book you wrote.
It's easy to do because they're both, Latin roots, and you just add one Latin root onto the side root, and then you have a type of murder.
Yeah.
But anyway, Romulus getting chicks. All right, I know exactly how this happened because actually the Roman foundation myth actually stipulates to it. So what happened was Romulus founds his city, then he invites all the despots and like exiles and outcasts to populate his city, and naturally, apparently, that's just overwhelming, teeming with men who are like super horny. So he goes, you know what? Let's invite our neighbors to come procreate with the gentleman here. And then, when they obviously did not, want to do that, when the oh my god, the Samnites were like, we ain't about that, chief. Then Romulus was like, all right, well then we'll kidnap you or females about it. So they did. They brought him back. And then the women were like, oh no, we can't have any violence, so let's not, and live happily ever after about it. And that's how Rome had, for the first 7 kings, or no, that's how Rome entered its regency era, basically, where they had 2 kings, and then the Samnite king died, and then all of a sudden it was just 1 king for the next 6 kings, and then we have the Republic. Yeah, so that's how you get women, is you kidnap them from the neighboring kingdom.
So why? Actually, I don't know much about pre-Republic Rome.
Yeah. Well, no one does. It's all fantastical.
Right.
It's Roman fan fiction, quite literally.
Yeah. Point well taken. Yeah,
like there is no way
we
that
kicked out the evil kings. And
there's no way that 7 kings, one after the other, reigned for on average 35 years, when the 2 longest Roman reigning emperors of the empire times, I think, was like 45 and 42 years respectively, and that was the maximum, right? So we're not having 35-year-long reigns on average from 7 individual different kings before the empire, when things were probably worse, right? So, fanfiction. There's probably many, many more kings, if that, and we don't know anything about them because I'm pretty sure it was either, there was like a Gaul invasion that burned down Rome at one point and lost all of our records, so most of pre-Republic history is just what they think happened or what sounds the best.
And you can't trust that Suetonius. He was nothing but a Caesar lickspittle.
Yeah, naturally, of course.
Okay, you know what? Something bugs me, like, honestly. Okay. You get this idea, like, inside of historiography, where the historiographical methodology, woo! That's a historiographical methodology. That's a 9-clapper. Son of a bitch.
Oof.
Anyway. So you get, multiple attestation, criterion of embarrassment, and all the other tools that fit into historiographical criteria. Yeah. Criterion. I love criterion. It's such a great word. It sounds like a Decepticon gone mad. we're living under the evil auspices of criterion. Anyway. You will get like Plutarch and Suetonius, and they're like Roman historians. It's like, okay. Yeah, and they were like the Caesars and stuff, and whoever the enemies of the Caesars were. If you want to see something where it's like, history's written by the victors and whatnot, and they write it to their own advantage. Mm-hmm. That is exemplified there for sure. Any woman who did something that a later Caesar didn't like, she's like the biggest whore who ever lived, and she worked in brothels not for money but for the fun of it. Like it. Holy shit! They'll do multiple attestation where it's multiple independent sources for the same piece of information, right? Mm-hmm. And it's for some reason when you're watching like a documentary or something, it's like all of this is exclusively from Plutarch, all of this that you're giving me right now, and it's like here's what happened. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Say if you read the details of the way that things went down in Alexandria.
Thank you to the Assassins of the Grey. You are Weebonus Minimus Jonesicus, calculator of the facts, holder of the piece of thing, servant to Cadmus Furious, owner of Superius Intendus. That was hard to get through, I'm not gonna lie. That's light of us's. But I don't disagree. Except for maybe the Minimus part. I am absolutely a Maximus. Anyway, sorry, Polly. You got interrupted.
What are you over on my server? You're Rutabaga Minimus. What are you again?
What am I? transient weirdo. Wait,
Did
that's
I?
not Norbar. I think that was you.
No, the Polydub server.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm transient weirdo currently.
Did
I think
did I
you...
change that to mock you, or
I
did you
think-
do that to be funny?
I think I did that to be funny.
Because my name over there is Rudiger Maximilian Dubbenstein. Because dox myself.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Anyway.
then you riffed off of it somehow. Like Rudiger became Rutabaga, and as a Maximus or Maximilian, it was Minimillion. And then I forget what you did for Dubbenstein.
I don't remember what I did for Dubbenstein either, but yeah, I remember that. Rutabaga Minimillion.
Minimillion. Daniel Foreman says Polly must be hell to play Scrabble with. Not if you don't mind an easy victory with very little challenge in your opponent. I'm not good at Scrabble at all.
Really?
Are you okay with it? Like, are you good? You average? What do you think?
I did used to play Words with Friends, and I was pretty decent about it. I know I was better than all of my other friends, but to be fair, I have a lot of non-college friends, so I have a more robust vocabulary compared to them, just by virtue of the fact that I'm more well-read.
I think that there's, no doubt knowing a bunch of words are an assistance, but I think that there's an additional skill in there
Yeah.
that I'm very much lacking in, because I stare at the tiles and I don't know what to tell you. Words don't appear in my mind. Like, oh, I could make this word or that word or whatever. So you can have this really large vocabulary that goes on forever, but if you can't make words from that out of the tiles in front of you, yeah. Scrabble is a baffling experience for me. It's boring because it's just staring at jumbled letters.
Yeah, there is a little bit more of skill in addition to knowing the words, is knowing how to use them on the board. But I think that comes with practice more than anything. If you work on it, it's a skill that you can improve upon. Unlike learning how to spell, no matter how much I try, I cannot improve. And mostly it's because my tiny little sausage fingers get in my own way all the time.
You have to remember weird ways to pronounce words so you can sound them out properly.
Yes!
Louisianian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the eternal struggle. Wednesday.
Yeah.
February.
Busyness.
Yep.
It's
It's the eternal struggle. I've been cursed with terrible spelling since I was a wee child. I think I never got more than like a C plus on a spelling test in elementary school. It was the bane of my existence, Polly. Oh god, pterodactyl. Silent letters are the worst. Fairies. Yep.
No, Snoopy's it's like, but can't spell, but robust vocabulary.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a particularly big problem with spelling. It's,
No, he's talking about me.
Okay, yeah.
That was a
All
dig
right.
at me.
I said people don't see it that way. Let me give you another example. I'm geographically impaired.
Oh, same.
Are you?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. It's people say, what are you talking about? It's just memory. Like, so Google Map my way into a neighborhood that I've never been in before, going to a friend's house or whatever.
Yeah.
I have to Google map my way out of that neighborhood again. And people find that hilarious, that are much more adept at geography and knowing their way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I came in left, right, left, right, they always say the same thing. Just reverse it. I don't know how to explain this to you. It doesn't work that way.
Does it take you a couple of like drives to get a place in your head completely correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, same.
When I've had people describe what it's like in their mind, they're doing the bird's eye view thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, I'm much more on the ground landmark approach. I turn right here and then left here by the road looks like this where I'm turning left, as opposed to there's a lot of people that in their mind, they're conceptualizing looking down on themselves, like as they're driving, and I turn right on this, and they're thinking in a grid pattern, that sort of jazz. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, Yeah, I admit, yeah, it's a kind of memory, but my point is it's a different kind of memory.
Yeah.
And I feel backed up on this because, like, psychology, Weebs, you've done a bunch of
Oh, yeah.
psychology, right?
Yeah.
People can get meningitis and unfortunately suffer brain damage, and they will lose a very specific kind of memory, but none of the others. They'll lose the memory of personal information, but they lose no skill sets, no talents. They can still use certain tools in a very skillful way, and they haven't lost any of that talent. Losing the memory for face recognition is that they can recognize streets and objects and words and every other damn thing, but faces are now lost to them because of
Yeah.
a particular kind of brain damage they've suffered.
Well,
Every face just somehow looks the same, and they can't remember any of them specifically. It's human memory is a weird, complicated thing,
well, the face blindness is actually something that a lot of people struggle with. Like I'm not good with names and faces. So like I have this happen a lot where people go, "Oh, you remember so and so." And I'm like, "It sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to the name." And if I saw them, maybe yeah, I would totally recognize them, but if I've only seen them once or twice, it's not enough for me to like, "Oh, yeah, I know who that is." And that can sometimes get me into trouble because if I've only met someone like once or twice and then I go, who is this? Like people get offended when you don't remember them for whatever reason because like, "Oh, I'm so memorable." But that's like that's an actual type of memory that
You
a
should
lot of
forget
people
those
struggle
people.
with.
I can't believe you didn't remember me. I'm still very memorable. Oh God, thank God I don't remember you.
Ugh, go away. Well, no, but like face blindness, which is just basically I can't recall a person's face very well. Or some people actually have an inability to recognize people's faces. That's a thing too. And it doesn't necessarily come from brain damage. It's just a deficiency certain people have. It's not uncommon. So, yeah.
But I try and tell people there's different types of memory, and stop holding me responsible for being geographically impaired. You ableist.
Yeah. We call them NPCs. The people that we're supposed to remember but don't remember. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a question, Polly. Do you sometimes get your left and right confused since you're geographically inept, apparently?
Get
Like you'll
right
say
hand, left hand confused?
no, you'll say left but mean right, but
No.
you're pointing with your left or you're pointing with your right.
I know what you mean, but no.
No, okay.
No, I
happens
don't
to
have
me.
that problem at all. But that's okay because I've got so many other problems.
Right. So I can't judge you, Weebo, for your inability to tell your left from your right.
Yeah. But that is common as all hell because
Mm-hmm.
the amount of times I've said, pick up that thing there, like I will be carrying something.
Yeah.
Move to your right. No, your other right. That happens a lot.
Yeah. I get
Now,
Super Nintendo
maybe
makes
it's
fun of
small
me for
sample
that.
size. Who makes fun of you?
It's Super Nintendo. Because he
Yeah.
asks me for directions all the time. And this is where it's like most prolific is he'll I'll give him a direction and I'll say right meaning left and then he'll take the wrong turn and I'm like, "I meant left. I'm sorry." And that's where it's problematic. So he has every right to make fun of me for that flubbitry. But
You're military, right? Nice one. Okay, great. Comment of the day so far. Well
it's a metric imperial right actually.
done.
I'm gonna use that.
I like the man squatch that I have to make an L with my hand. Hey, whatever works, bro. That's fine by me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to explain that to a friend. I said, just do the L with your finger thing. And she went, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Okay, make an L with both fingers." "Yeah. Which one reads correct?" And she goes, "Well, this one." And that's your left hand.
Hey.
Her eyes just wide, like,
Well, right, but like you need to remember to do that too. Is the thing. I've been thinking about getting left and right tattooed onto my hands just so I
Don't
can
do that.
remember. Yeah, I was thinking of that.
That's
but I'm not
basically
going
projecting
to.
to the world, I'm stupid. Like, it doesn't mean you're stupid, but that's what everyone's going to think.
Well, Super Nintendo thinks it's a great idea, but he also makes fun of.
I mean, it's not like you're, in a bomb disposal squad. Clip the wire on the right. Click. No, the other right. Like it's
Right,
It's not
so-
like lives are at stake. It's fine.
It's fine. If we just don't get to our location on time, it's not the end of the world. We're good.
Yeah, just set out early, like I always fail to do, and arrive late. It's not my fault. The world conspires against me.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
I left for somewhere today. Okay,
Yeah.
to like not just kind of early, but way early. I should have arrived 45 minutes before go time. I arrived 5 minutes before go time. And I'm like, see, motherfuckers think the world doesn't conspire against me.
What happened, Polly?
I believe there very well might be a flux capacitor in my car of some sort that causes me to drive through a slower pocket of the universe.
Did you stop anywhere on your way there?
I didn't stop anywhere. Actually, like I if I did, I'd say it. I didn't. And I took the fast route, the one with the least lights and whatnot. And I gunned that motherfucker. I sped through areas that you're not supposed to.
Were there, like, stop and go areas? Traffic?
Some, but not many because of the particular route. Do you say route or route?
Route? No, I say route. That didn't sound correctly coming out of my face hole.
Now you're going to be thinking about it.
Yeah, I am. Thanks.
You might be one of those people that like switches back and forth. You're Midwesterner.
I think I might be, actually.
And that makes a lot of sense. If it's like you're a Midwesterner, you're in the Northeast. It's like, yeah, there's a mixture of all things. I hear people jump back and forth between process and process all the time. And it's, yeah.
Like, just settle on one. God damn it.
I mean, me 98% of the time, it's definitely process. But for some reason, in some sentences, I can't quite figure my way through it. Process sounds right. I don't know why. Yeah, he just works on polytime, and Otter's never late. He arrives exactly when he needs to. I've even got a donation for it.
Really?
Yeah, there's an otter dressed up like a wizard, and Sam is doing his best Gandalf impression. And
Oh!
he goes, and also never arrives late. It's great.
Wait, didn't Sam do the voice for that?
Yeah, that's what I just
I
said.
remember. Wait, you said Sam did that?
Yeah, I said Sam did his best Gandalf impression.
Oh. No, you didn't just say that.
That.
Stop gaslighting me.
Have you ever seen Gaslight?
No, I haven't, actually.
It's a good movie. Ingrid
Yeah.
Bergman. Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't like good movies. I was just about to say,
Excuse me.
she played Ilsa Lund in Casablanca, but you thought that was boring.
I did not think it was boring. I just disagreed with your assessment that it is the greatest love story ever told.
I said it was the greatest thing ever committed to celluloid, which in it contained the greatest love story.
And I disagreed. And you took that to mean that I thought it was boring.
You used the word boring, not me.
I do not recall this.
No, you.
No.
Okay. In all
It didn't
fairness,
happen.
it just. It was on this very show. Now, I don't know what episode, but we can go back and find it. The internet's forever, Weebo.
You know what? I challenge you to do exactly just that. And also, while you're reviewing old episodes, maybe, like, give me timestamps for particularly intriguing bits that we could use in, like, supercuts. I'm trying to
I see you're giggling and laughing. I also tried this technique on somebody. Like, if you're watching old episodes and you find things that are particularly funny, make sure you write down the timestamp, and then I'll know which parts to cut out for 60-second short, so I can get up on that short algorithm.
Exactly.
Tickling. And it sounded as paper thin and pawning off work to others as what you just said. Now I realize why nobody took me up on it.
Oh, now you realize. Yeah. 'cause-
Well, no, I knew, but I just didn't realize how bad it sounded until I just.
Well, that's why I said it, because I knew it was going to happen, but I thought it would be funny anyway.
Man, I would legitimately. It's like, are you actually listening to old episodes, audience member? And they're like, yeah, I like going back and listening to the old stuff. Bro, like, I'll slip you fucking money. I have a PayPal. You got a PayPal? If you can locate funnyisms for me, the last thing I want to do is listen to the trash I put on the internet, man. It'll depress me right out of ever being on a show ever again.
Oof.
Can you go back and listen to your old streams? Do you ever do that?
Sometimes I do. But
Yeah.
I actually enjoy the sound of my own voice. So, I don't have a problem like you do.
Said every woman everywhere ever.
I have a really nice voice, and also, I'm fucking hilarious.
Look, if you don't calm down with this self-effacing behavior, I'm gonna leave. Beating up on Weebo, I'm gonna put up with it. I was listening to a guy the other day.
Yeah.
I realized you didn't speak in the third person, but I kind of put some words. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
He's talking about himself because, he's referencing an article that somebody wrote about him. Basically, it's a polemic. The person is claiming they're criticizing him, but they're not. They're really just polemicizing him.
Right.
I'm assuming polemicizing is an actual word.
Sure. Probably.
And so, of course, they're naming him over and over again. So when he's talking, he's saying, if Polydub does this and then blah, 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 well, maybe Polydub thought that, and the person he's talking about himself in the third person. And I'm like, he's not that kind of dude, but it is always irking to me to hear someone refer to themselves in the third person like that.
Yeah.
You can't not sound like you really think of yourself as, like, it's not egotistical. It's just you have a certain worrying perspective on yourself. Like you're a force of nature. You're out there in the world.
Right.
And even though you are that person, you recognize how influential you are in the world, that you can refer to your. Richard Nixon did that on a constant. He said, Nixon did this, Nixon did that. And it's just weird to hear him talk.
Yeah.
Because he's referring to himself in terms of things that he did. When Nixon and Kissinger opened up normalized relations with China, it's like, you mean when you and Kissinger? But he thinks of himself as a political actor, which of course he was, and he thinks of himself as like the leader of the free world, which of course at the time he was.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's legitimate, it just, I don't know, irks him.
Do you think that he adopted that habit after he got elected president, or was that just something he did before?
I do think that, because I'm actually a fan of listening to Nixon and his Tommy hunting days, because, well, I mean, that was self-explanatory. It's just fun to listen to. It's when I was doing a deep dive on the Cold War and whatnot, as it related in America, the Cold War, and McCarthy and McCarthyism and the House on Un-American Activities. And House on Un-American Activities never did nothing wrong. There's my hot take for the day.
Well, alrighty.
Oh, don't you know that they went after actors in Hollywood and blackballed them? The House on Un-American Activities did that. You're not thinking of somebody else, because they weren't investigating Hollywood, they're investigating the federal government and people with ties to the Communist Party of America. Doesn't matter though, who cares, as long as they can just really 12 fucking people. They got blackballed, and they're still fucking making movies about it.
I actually don't know a whole lot about that period of time in history. Is it worth doing like a deep dive into? Do you think? Well, actually, you know what? I shouldn't ask you. You have a particular bias on such things.
I do hate communism. It's true. Now, I'll just decide, like, is it worth doing a deep dive on? I can give you a good place to start, and it will definitely give you a strong indication of whether or not you're going to want to go further.
Okay.
How's that? Watch Razorfist's video, Hollywood's Always Been Red.
Okay.
Because it is so commies, everywhere commies, and he was right. Either you're going to want to hear more of this, or you're not. You're going to want to hear the other side of this story, or you're not. You see, it's a very strong flavor.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And because it's a very strong flavor, it should give you a good indication as to whether or not you want to know more. That's my call.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, and chat too. If you even remotely like Razorfist content and you haven't seen Hollywood's Always Been Red, it's absolutely worth a watch. It's definitely one of his better long form edited video essays. Video essays? I think that's not unfair to call it that.
Yeah. I write video essays.
Why do you think Hollywood has always been red? There's always been people with socialist leanings, Marxist sympathies, and outright communists in some cases in Hollywood from day one. They've always been propagandists for the left. It's not, meaning you shouldn't really feel so bad that what's with all this pinko crap coming out of modern Hollywood? Oh, it ain't modern Hollywood. And if they haven't destroyed the Republic yet, they're probably not going to. They're not a help, don't get me wrong. If you subscribe to the idea that politics is downstream from culture, they are a cultural force. Hollywood, they are a cultural force in the U.S. and the way that the polity American voters think about things. But like I said, if after decades and decades and a long time, they haven't been successful at convincing everybody to the point where all conservatives have become a maligned super minority where only 10% of people are voting conservative. If they haven't been successful in that yet, they're not going to be. Which is, hey, there's my white pill for the day. They've been at it for fucking ever, and this is the marginal amount of success that they've achieved. You want to destroy your career as an actor? Be somebody who's at least somewhat reliant on your agent being able to get you script reads and roles and whatnot. Announce outright that you're a strong supporter of the Republican Party, and while you denounce all racism, you believe in small government and protection of individual rights. Oh my God. They're going to have you riding the rails, tarred and feathered out of fucking town by sundown. It's true. You know it's true.
It's definitely not untrue. But I will say that the contrary is also popular. Not popular. The amount of people that come out with very left-leaning opinions doesn't necessarily do them any favor in the public eye. For instance, the chick who is doing Snow White in the new Snow White movie, didn't she have a whole spiel about the new movie being more progressive than any movie previously and dogging on the old movie? And she was lambasted for it. In fact, I think, isn't the Daily Wire's production company coming out with an alternative Snow White at the same time?
Hey, Bear to Bear, how's it going? Yes, I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. The actress in Snow White. Mm-hmm. It would seem like she is legitimately trying to pull a Brie Larson, meaning intentionally saying, antagonizing things. This movie isn't for you. Previous versions have been problematic. There was no consent on Snow White's part. Blah blah. The things you would expect someone like that to say, and maybe you've heard her particular things. It's like, is this a publicist thing in the sense of trying to garner controversy around because there's no such thing as bad press, like operating off of that? Or are you just stupid and saying dumb shit because you're Taylor Swift who suddenly figured out that she's interested in paper-thin politics 5 seconds ago? Or it's a third option that I'm just not thinking of. But one way or another, she keeps saying dumb shit over and over and over. And her publicist hasn't muzzled her. Disney hasn't muzzled her.
Yeah. Did they have to hire a new actor for Snow White, Snoopy? I did not hear about that. All I know is that she ran her mouth, right?
Is that true, Snoopy?
In a very Brie Larson-esque way, circa Marvel. Miss Captain Marvel, whatever. And it didn't work out.
Let's go with that. Miss Captain Marvel. I like that. And we'll do it MZ, Ms. Captain Marvel.
Miss Captain Marvel. But, like, she was fired from Snow White? Holy shit.
That's what Snoop, I had not heard that. Or, like I said, I meant to. I said, I don't follow it that closely. It's just, stuff filters through. You know what I mean? And I just heard a few clips of her saying stuff and the people commenting. Can you believe she's still at it? Like indicating there were a bunch more that I hadn't seen. And I thought they were done filming. What do you mean they fired her from Future Seat?
Wait. Hold on. The rumors Rachel Zegler has been fired from live-action Snow White have been greatly exaggerated. She'll still play the fairest of them all.
Do they not know what that word means? Weebo's fair. Our girlfriend over there is, she's a beautiful girl, but decidedly sable in her complexion.
Ooh, that's a word.
What? Women from olive skin to caramel to
No,
Oh,
Sable.
brown or can be
I
can be
don't
very,
hear
very
that.
beautiful. You just don't hear it. Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't mean it to slag on her. She's pretty, but just, obviously her politics are fucked because
Oh, okay. Paddington 3 wraps filming in 2 weeks, and Ziegler was recast due to strikes. The sentiments apparently led more than a few people to believe that if Ziegler... Is it Ziegler or Ziegler?
I don't know.
I don't know
Good
either.
question.
Ziegler would be recast in Paddington 3. She would be fired from the Disney remake. Following the ex-post, Disney fan blog Inside the Magic published an article with the headline, Disney reportedly fires Rachel Zegler from the Snow White live action. Additionally, TikTok user Wooden Russell made claims that Disney fired the 22-year-old actress over accusations of being difficult to work with. The commentator also claimed her vile personality in the interviews contributed to the supposed development. Take a look at the video below.
Not only was she a harpy in interviews, she was terrible to work with. Lord.
Supposedly.
At least they didn't go the creative differences route. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't look like they actually fired her. It looks like these are just rumors.
I mean, there's no creativity at work at all. No one would have believed that.
Yeah, because the movie's still opening in March of next year. So it's on schedule to come out. But yeah, no, it doesn't look like they recast her. But I wouldn't be surprised if she was as difficult as that. That would be wild, though. If they just finished an entire movie and then recast the actress, like, less than 6 months away from releasing a film. That's insane.
Yeah, no one spends a lot of money on a film and then pretty much reshoots 80% of it.
No, they do.
Solo.
The Flash.
Yeah, and Han Solo, infamously.
Didn't they also do that with Aquaman? Two? We're on the second
With
one, right?
what?
Didn't they do that with Aquaman 2 as well? Or was that just the Flash?
I don't know about Aquaman 2. I don't follow anything with Jason Momoa, the fucking hobo.
That's just because he married the woman that you're in love with? The actress that
They're
you're in love
divorced.
with? Oh.
Okay, that ain't it.
Well, so now you have a chance, Polly, so you don't have to hate him anymore.
The man's a hobo.
Because of his long hair?
But, Weebo, who don't you like? And you don't have to have a reason for it. There's got to be someone. You don't have to like everyone. Yeah, we never got into this. Who just bugs you because of who they are? I mean, I got Clooney. I can't stand fucking Clooney. Who's your Clooney? That bobble-headed bastard.
That I don't have a reason for not liking?
Well, you got reasons. They're just not rational. It's like he bobs his
Oh!
head and he talks.
Oh!
Therefore,
Hugh Grant. There's something about his
Ooh,
face.
good choice. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think about him ever, but now that I am, I could see him driving someone right up the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just there's something about his face that just bothers me, and so I prefer not to watch movies with him. Will Ferrell also. I think his movies are super annoying.
Yeah. Will Ferrell is yeah, you know how some people just standing there can make people laugh? They just have that vibe.
He doesn't, to me.
But to a lot of people he does. And I don't see it at all.
No, I don't see it either.
What's his name is like that for a lot of people? Ben Stiller.
Oh. He can just make people laugh by standing there? I don't get that vibe.
Yeah, his very minor facial expressions just kill people. For me, and I'm not saying anyone has to agree with me, okay? The only funny thing that I've ever seen Ben Stiller do was Tropic Thunder. And overall, it was very, very funny. So good for him that he nailed it so well. But I haven't seen, like, something about Mary. Yeah, no, I didn't find it funny. It was not at all.
Did you watch Meet the Fockers? Or Meet the Parents?
Yes.
With Robert De
Meet
Niro?
I know.
Did I hurt you a little bit inside when I asked you that question?
He hurt me years ago. It's fine.
Are you okay? Are you gonna be okay?
There was a time when he was an actor, Weebo. A good one.
Yep. Yep. I know. I recall this speech. I'm sorry, Polly. I didn't mean to bring up this. Have you ever
Zoolander
seen
is a classic
Yeah.
agree to disagree, Paulie. See, I'm not saying, anyone's got to agree with me, right? It's like Zoolander. I mean, oh man, you've got to be kidding me. You have a high tolerance for annoyance, sir. It explains why you like talking to me, but whew.
Yeah, I think
When was
those
the
are the
la-
only two people that I can think of that I just don't like for no reason. That
Can
it
you
makes
recall the
sense.
last comedy that you saw in theaters?
The last
It's like
comedy that I
way
saw.
back in the pre-COVID times.
This is a tall order. I don't think I ever watch comedies in theaters.
Right? That is the thing for me as well. It just doesn't see. I'm not saying comedies are trash. I like comedy. I like to laugh, etc. Right?
Yeah, but I prefer to
But-
watch them in the comfort of my own home.
Yeah, to me they just seem like lighter entertainment where I'm not going to shell out the movie ticket price. Like, what do I care if I can see comedic actor on such a large screen with the sound system that they have there and 7.2 surround with blah 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 blah. That's just not necessary. A dramatic movie or an action movie. Oh, but you're gonna shell out that movie or that money rather for John Wick. Hell yes, because they're highly orchestrated, very detailed, choreographed action scenes that if you see them on a much larger screen with all the sound design they've got going on, fuck yeah, it's worth it. Absolutely. That makes sense. I remember the last comedy I saw, and man, Pineapple Express.
I know I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever actually seen it though.
Yeah, it was years back, and that's how long it's been. And I realized I was right up until that point to not waste money on comedies in theaters, and I have not done it since. It was so stupid. What's that fat, self-righteous bastard? Seth something?
Seth Rogen? Seth Meyers?
Oh God.
I don't know.
Seth, except for fat, I just described Seth Meyers too. An obnoxious, self-righteous bastard. I see your confusion. I understand.
To be fair, I don't actually know which one is which. So
No, not Jonah Hill. It is Seth Rogen. I know if you ever see anything that guy types, it's like Los Angeles is the greatest place that ever existed. Diversity for diversity's sake, even though he lives in a gated community with armed guards where only white people live, etc., etc. Like, he is that guy. He's, Will Wheaton and all the bullshit he went on. Everyone's a fascist but him, and that whole shit. That's Seth Rogen. Man, that guy's an obnoxious son of a bitch. And that movie is based all around him, and it's a weed movie. It's a bud buddy comedy.
yeah.
They're seeking for like the ultimate strain of marijuana, cannabis called Pineapple Express. It just
I don't think I've ever actually seen it. And yeah, I don't go to the theaters to watch comedies now that I think about it. I think I've only ever seen like action or just like action movies at the theaters, I think. Action or fantasy movies at the theaters.
fantasy movies I could see, like especially if there's giant fighting scenes or whatever. You want to see all the costumery and the fantasy landscapes of Arthurian England or Middle Earth or whatever. Yeah, totally get why you'd want to see that in a theater. Absolutely.
I think I remember, I think the only movie I've ever walked out of was, I think, the March of the Penguins movie, and that was because I was getting super bored, and I was probably like 8. I don't know why my mother thought that was a good idea, but she did.
I'm going to take this opportunity to bitch. I know, rarity, but hear me out.
Okay.
I saw Dark Knight Rises in the theater, in IMAX, because I happen to really dig IMAX. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. IMAX is the one that, it's got like the laser, or am I thinking of something else?
It's 2 projectors instead of 1.
Okay.
Is that what you mean?
Well, I know that there's the different viewing experiences, and I'm actually not certain on the difference between them. Or
Okay,
why
hold on.
they're
I overstated
significant.
that. 2 cameras instead of one. Sometimes there are, sometimes they're not. In case there's a cinema nerd here, actually, it's got a really big exposure gate on it. Instead of being extremely widescreen, which it is, it's also very tall screen.
Okay.
There's a lot of real estate for them to put stuff on. So if
Okay.
you are filming and extremely high detail, and you use a certain kind of film stock for it that gives you incredible resolution in terms of imagery, so you can shoot something that's at night, and all of a sudden all this detail just pops out of it. Anyway, I'm watching Dark Knight Rises, and the whole thing was not shot in IMAX, which I can understand because that would be really, really expensive. However, don't film part of it in IMAX. That's the only thing that I'm claiming.
Okay.
I'm sitting there in the theater, and it's like giant city shots of Chicago in place for Gotham, right?
Right.
And these fucking gorgeous flyover scenes, a helicopter, drone, whatever way they got the footage,
Yeah.
and to set the scene or set the area of Gotham that it's happening in, and then it will cut to indoors, and now it's 72 wide aspect ratio, and it's like, whoa, what happened to the top and bottom of the screen? Like they're just no longer on because it
Okay.
went to a different aspect ratio.
Yeah.
Throughout the film, it was, what do you mean parts of it are in IMAX? It's jarring. And much like going from, the problem is never going from 72 to 1080, or excuse me, 720 to 1080, for example, in terms of resolution. It's like, yeah, I guess it looks a little better, but it's not that big of a difference. And then you slip back to 720, and it's like, oh God, it's so blurry. It's not going up that makes the big difference. It's going down.
Okay.
Watch an HD channel on your TV and, any kind of 720 or 1080 streaming, and then go to a regular network television. Going up resolution, it'll be like, oh yeah, I see the difference. Going down will be like somebody smeared Vaseline all over your flat screen. Like it's so blurry.
Oh yeah.
That's what it was like watching that movie switch between IMAX and regular widescreen or theatrical widescreen. Going
feel
up, it's like all of a sudden everything got big, and it's like, oh hey, cool. And then when it shrinks, oh, it's jarring. Oh.
Yeah,
So
I
anyway,
didn't know
there's
that
my
was the
complaint.
difference. To be
I went-
fair, I just
Real quick,
didn't
I went
watch
to that movie
movies.
with a friend who, he and I are those guys that don't mind yelling shit at the screen.
Yeah.
I know it annoys people, but we go out of our way. We buy tickets for Sunday night late showing. So if you show up at 11 p.m. on a Sunday to watch a movie, yeah, we might be there. And we paid for our tickets, and we've been drinking. So
Oh, those were the days when you could just drink before the movies. Back in college. Oh my gosh, we got free movies all the time, and we would drink, go to the movies, come back and drink some more. Or drink at the movies too, because you sneak in a flask.
of course,
Yeah.
you pregame, Uber it to the theater because you don't drive.
No,
and
we
then-
walked because it was within walking distance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's even better. Yeah. So we're there watching Dark Knight Rises, and I watched it with him. Well, 45 minutes into the movie, I'm just sitting there with my popcorn, and the drink I snuck in because I already paid for their overpriced popcorn. I'm not paying for a $9 soda. You mad? So anyway, eating my popcorn, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, in a really loud voice, not just talking at the screen, but like he yells out, "For God's sake, where's Batman?" Because he had. That's just, if you ever see Dark Knight Rises, it takes so long before he puts the cape and cowl on.
Yeah.
And in the story, it's understandable, but he had been drinking, and he did. You ever seen, like, there was only like a dozen people in the theater, but like 12 pairs of eyes all turn around at you at one time because we were in the back, far back, so we can get away with yelling. And
Yelled out a little too loudly there, I
yeah, and
guess.
when the scene where it finally does show Batman when he jumps on the bat cycle and he's doing the chase through and under the bridges and shit, right? When you first see him come out and then you hear the Batman theme, the dun, 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 and he yells out, "Finally!" I'm a delight to go to the theater with.
Well, I enjoy watching movies with you, Polly. So,
Yeah. And I'm also an applauder. It's not all negativity. Like, we saw John Wick 4,
Yeah.
right? And the action scene will go on, and I'm just like, oh, oof, oh, hell yeah. Do it, Wick. Like, and they're also like under my breath because I've got like, I'm ripping the armrest real hard and I'm
Right.
just enjoying the ride, right? But then when that scene's over, it's like, oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Woo. Like me and my friend Christopher, we actually both applaud the scenes we like, not at the end of the movie, mind you, but throughout the movie.
So you like feel the character-iness of what's going on the film. Do you also cry at the really sad moments or the like super happy ones? Like the ones that are like super full of relief? Typically, or nah?
Okay. I can't recall whether that, you mean in movies in general, or did you mean in the theater?
I guess either or. Like I know we talked about when we watched Coco together. The father
Oh
daughter.
my God, that was no. When daddy daughter, all bets are off. That's no. That was just when the old woman Coco remembered the song, and that was the song her dad sang. That punches you right in your man feels.
Yeah.
I think there should have been a warning at the beginning of that movie.
But was that like an exceptional moment for you, or are you like, do you feel what the character feels when they feel the sadness? Like, does it emotionally gut punch you? Because it does
Yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Okay. Because
I mean,
Super
see, I
Nintendo
mean,
doesn't have that same like vibe. He does not get emotional at the emotional climax of the movie like I do. Maybe if I showed him Coco. Ooh, wait, no, he's seen Coco. Never mind.
Did he remain flat-faced? Like through or flat, emotion not affected, like affected at all?
Like I wasn't there when he watched Coco because he watched it with his nibblings, but he has reported to me that there was no tears in sight. But I don't know if I can trust his assessment of the situation. The first few minutes of the movie Up. Ooh, that's a good one too. I'm gonna have to show him all of these again, just like to get it, to see.
I've never seen Up. I've heard lots of people say it's top notch, but
It's
I've
also
never
a good
seen
movie.
it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, last cocktail hour we did, so 2 weeks ago. You unfairly maligned and insulted my taste in movies, and
I did not. I just described your interests.
I was here. It happened.
All right, carry on.
I'm not going to recapitulate the horrid list of descriptions. Dark, smoky, betrayal, manly, whiskey, depression, manly, and I'm like, twice, really, twice? I did.
Scruffy, gritty, noir, all of the noir elements. Come on, Polly, own up to it. We know.
They're hard-pressed men trying to make their way in a world they didn't create.
Yes, and it resonates with you.
Doesn't mean you need to insult me over it.
I was not insulting you. I was just making an observation. If you feel personally
No, I don't think you're
attacked-
making it. Well, okay, listen, just to be accurate, you were not making an observation. You were using it as a vehicle to compliment yourself and your wonderfully eclectic range of taste.
Yeah, that does sound like
Yeah,
something I might do. Okay, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, the hand to the chest motion you did. It was like, whereas I have a much more eclectic taste. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's coming back to me. I do recall. Ooh, I did do that, didn't I? Ooh.
Yeah. I like the idea of like suggesting, hey, Weebo, we should watch this movie, and it's it feels like an invitation to go to the seediest side of town, you know? I was watching a series of movies with a lady friend, and she said, "So the next movie we watch, how did she say it? She goes, could we watch something that isn't, you know?" I'm like, "What?" And I think she was thinking that I was gonna like pick up on it, and I did, but I wanted her to say it.
Say it with your chest, fool.
Yeah, like it just word scripts, spit that shit out, man. Like, it's so I wanted to hear what it was. And this was shit that isn't about, depression and crime. When you egg someone on to say something, it's like, well, I didn't think you were gonna like actually call me out. Shit, I just
So what movie did you end up seeing after that then?
What was the next one?
Yeah, what was the movie that you guys saw instead of something about depression and crime?
I actually don't remember, but it is not all depression and crime. We watched, and it was the first time that I saw it, The Princess Bride.
Oh my gosh, what did you think about that movie, Polly?
I didn't, from what I had seen, clips, because you're going to see clips, right?
Yes.
I just didn't think it was going to be like that. I didn't think it was going to have the more slapsticky moments. It had a fun romp, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves vibe that I dug. Yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun ride. I dug it.
As far as movies go, I would say that is probably the perfect movie ever put to cinema.
All right.
Perfect.
Double Indemnity. That is about lust and murder. Yes, it is.
Double Indemnity.
And thank you for saying Double Indemnity. Everyone, when it comes to noir, wants to mention The Third Man, which, okay, it is a great movie. I just don't think it should be the go-to reference as the pinnacle exemplar of what is noir. And no, I don't think it's Maltese Falcon either. Some people argue that it isn't noir at all. No, it's noir detective at best. But come on, Humphrey Bogart, playing Sam Spade. What more do you ask for? Come on.
I can ask for a
Today
lot
was
more.
effing awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Slipknot. Cool. Yeah, The Godfather is a masterpiece. I can't think of a movie, Godfather 1, Godfather 2. There's a better example of not all sequels suck, and not all sequels are attempting to retread the same territory as the first movie, like trying to recapture that success or recapture that lightning in a bottle. That's not what happened between Godfather 1 and 2. Coppola really deserves his credit there. I mean, man, this is a guy who did Godfather 1, Godfather 2, and Apocalypse Now, all in a space of like 7-8 years. Like, he could have stopped right there and would have accomplished more in his career than Stanley Kubrick did in the entirety of his career. I'm not a fan of Kubrick. I think he's overrated.
Yeah. I watched. Is Clockwork Orange his work? It is,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
It was It was meh.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying it's Kubrick stuff is bad. That's not the claim. It's just,
Was he overrated?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just overrated. I think you can say that about a lot of things. Like
Oh,
this
yeah, for
food, this food, this dish, this movie, this book. No, I liked it. It wasn't bad. Well, then what are you complaining about? I'm complaining about people that talk about it like it's the end all be all of the thing when it just doesn't reach those heights. That's all.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I actually have like a recent example of this happening to me in real time. That is with like female specifically focused demographic young adult fiction romance fantasy novels, specifically with the Fae persuasion. Gosh, what did I read? A Court of Thorns and Roses. Everyone had been telling me that I would really love this book, that it was fantastic, that I should read it, that it was just like everything, and if you like fantasy, you'll love this, Weebo. And I read it, and I got about 2/3 of the way through it before I realized that I did not like it at all. I hated it, in fact, and I was starting to hate it even more. And the further I got through the last act of the book, I was just like, oh my god, this is terrible. But I've been told that I should finish the series because it I guess gets better, but I don't know. I don't think that I can. Yeah. It just became god-awfully unbearable. And that was rather disappointing because I was really looking forward to finding a new series that I could, like, invest an absurd amount of time into. But no.
Huh.
Big sad.
But you don't remember the name of it?
No, Court of Thorns and Roses. It's kind of like a big deal right now in the book community for young adult fiction. And it shouldn't be. Honestly, if I'm being honest, that is not a young adult book. That is more of like an adult fantasy novel, and it should remain marketed towards the adults. Because it is not meant for the YA demographic, which is like anywhere between 13 to 25, probably, all right? Which 13 to 18 is a very impressionable age. They should not be reading some of the things that they put into YA adult novels. And this is a problem that actually I think has gotten worse since I was a 13-year-old young adult fiction reader. And I have several bones to pick about it. Yes, 13 is a child. Thank you, Assassins of the Grey. They should not be reading about some of the themes that are in this young adult fictional novel. Whew. If I were a mother right now of a 13-year-old female child, I would be extremely nervous, but I'm not. But I'm gonna have to be someday.
People, excuse me. People have brought up Escape from New York. John Carpenter's Escape from New York with Russell leather panted.
Yeah.
Not Russell Crowe. Tom Russell, John Russell. Russell Stowe.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell. There we go.
You got it.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. From having seen, that's a great example of a movie that I've heard about for a long time, and seen clips of it for a long time, and got a bad impression off of it, or an inaccurate one. And when I saw the movie, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's got its own vibe, its own style. It's told in a very Carpenter-like way of filming. It's got Carpenter doing the soundtrack again, like with Halloween, and it minimalist as hell, the soundtrack. And yeah, it all just works somehow when you actually watch the movie. It's a great example of a movie that can't be. Good luck putting a trailer together that's going to accurately represent that film. How do you do a slow burn film, demonstrate a slow burn film in a trailer where you're inherently limited by time, if that makes sense? Slow burn requires time.
I guess maybe you could, like, get to the point of the film in the trailer, and then people know what it is that you're building up to, so they're allowed to. So, like, the apprehension is built before they even step foot into the theater, and so they know what's coming already. It's just a matter of getting to that point. I think the whole concept is actually applied to House of the Dragon, and, like, we know how the story ends, but it's the journey of how we got to where the story ends that is the thing that we're all excited to see, you know?
Weebo, have you ever? So I think we talked about this before. I know we talked about Shakespeare before, but what theatrical, not stage play, but full-on movies of Shakespeare have you seen? Of Shakespeare plays, comedies, tragedies, whatever.
We watched Romeo and Juliet when I was in high school. I think the old version and the newer version.
One with Olivia Hussey?
Maybe. She was a really pretty
Like
version.
late 60s?
Maybe? Yes.
Okay.
At least the actor who played Romeo looked like, oh my god. The guy who played Troy Bolton, famous actor, currently, our generation.
Troy Bolton? I don't even know who that is.
Troy Bolton in High School Musical. He's the High School Musical guy. Oh my god! Oh my god, that's gonna drive me insane.
Weebo's looking to scratch the itch, guys.
Zac
He's chasing-
Efron. Zac Efron.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one, yeah. And then you
Yes.
saw the remake. Which one was the remake?
Uh,
Or not remake, I guess.
and now I have to double check because I know for certain we saw that one, but I don't know which remake we saw. Romeo.
I think Daniel Fullman has just epitomized part of being on the internet. Like, Polly, she was only 16. I just said her name. Everyone's looking for groomers everywhere all the time. It's weird.
Right? Yeah. You
It's-
just
I didn't-
said her name, didn't you?
All I said was the one with Olivia Hussey. Polly, for God's sake! Like I did. What the hell did I do?
No one watched High School Musical. Everyone in my generation watched High School Musical. It was a cultural phenomena. All right, it was like Grease for us. Okay, I can't remember which other Romeo and Juliet, but I did see Romeo and Juliet. Did you ever watch Romeo and Juliet?
Nomeo?
Yeah, it's the Disney take on Romeo and Juliet, where they're gnomes.
They're gnomes.
They're gnomes. It's adorable.
That's. But I never heard of that. That sounds so much like something Disney would do. Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
And no one dies at the end, so it's a lot happier of an ending.
Yeah, Snoopy Olivia Hussey is ancient because she was in Romeo and Juliet in the late. I believe it was 1968. I think. Feel free to correct me. And there she was 16. So yeah, she did manage to age, but she was also, excuse me, in Black Christmas. Which, as Kefke and I found out, was one of the most outstanding horror movies we had seen up to that point. It was so freaking good. It's got Lois Lane. It's got a drunk den mother. It's got an insane, obsessed pianist.
Oh.
You know the origin. Get out! The calls are coming from inside the house. Like that, you know.
No.
It's a horror movie trope.
Oh.
Like teenagers having sex get killed.
Oh, the calls. Yes, I do know that. Okay.
What'd you think I said?
I didn't realize you meant calls as in, like, phone calls.
You thought I meant bird calls?
I'm not 100% sure what you meant. So I was confused and I was, like, trying to wrap my head around it, and then my brain caught up. You have to understand, Polly, I don't think we had like a home phone in my childhood, and you couldn't just call yourself on it. It wasn't that kind of a phone. I don't think.
It was a phone that didn't receive calls. My dear, you had a CB.
No, it was a phone. We only had the one home phone, so we didn't have like a separate home phone in the other house. So we couldn't call ourselves from within the house.
Yeah, if you got a landline in the house, unless you got a second landline, you can't call the same landline from the landline itself.
That's
Also,
what I mean. Is like
phones don't work that way.
yeah. So I don't have it. Doesn't readily come to my head that experience. It's like
Yeah, she had a party line.
Something
That's what I
else.
was thinking.
she had a party line. Yeah, no, we didn't
know what
have that.
Do you know what a party line is?
Whatever that is, I don't know what that is.
If in areas where they didn't have really strong phone service back in the day, like really well-established phone service, a whole lane of houses would same phone line. So you couldn't use it when one of your neighbors was using it. All the same line for the ease of setting it up.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Never had that.
But if it's that or no phone at all, you know.
you want
you
at
just-
least a phone.
Yeah, and you have to imagine anyone that dealt with a party line had some neighbors that were,
Overhearing.
well, that
Could
too,
they?
yeah. But sure.
Oh.
But more to the point, it's like, oh my God, are you talking to your cousin again? Shut up. Why don't you move to wherever she's at? So you guys, that's all you guys do is talk all day. I need to order a pizza here, damn it. So I'm thinking like, because it's a limited range, we could watch some theatricalism presentations of some Shakespeare's.
I've also watched a Hamlet version. I don't remember which one either. And no, I'm not talking about The Lion King.
Nice.
Because technically that's Hamlet, but Disney's Hamlet.
You know, I'm obviously not saying Hamlet's bad because there's a bunch of good parts to it. It's just too damn long, too convoluted. Yeah, it's got some great material, but it's not my favorite. And it's not like I hate Shakespeare, so it just, leave me alone. It's not my favorite.
There are a few ones that I have been looking to rewatch, or not rewatch, but I should probably watch at some point because I've heard pretty decent things about them, and I've just never had the opportunity to see them. Is Taming of the Shrew Shakespeare? It is, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yeah. Midsummer's Night's Dream? Midsummer something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite comedy, Midsummer Night's Dream.
I've seen Othello live, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, how good was it?
It was really good. It was very, very good.
Well, Othello's not my favorite tragedy. Mm-hmm. It's got my favorite character, Iago, of all Shakespeare's characters. That's why, if you haven't seen it and you're curious, the Othello starring Lawrence Fishburne. Mm-hmm. It's really, really good. Mostly because Kenneth Branagh himself is playing Iago. Oh. And Lawrence Fishburne seriously doesn't get his cred. He actually has acting chops, like serious acting chops. He's not just a guy who can read some lines. He's much more than just being Morpheus or whatever.
Oh, yes. Okay, that is Morpheus. I was like, that's Morpheus, or is that the guy with the wandering eyeball?
The guy with the what?
The wandering eyeball. And then I was like, no, that's Forrest Whitaker in my head.
Oh, yeah. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, it is.
I'm not good with names and faces.
No, yeah, but Lawrence Fishburne's, he's got some serious acting chops. And you see it in Othello, but not when you're acting off of Kenneth Branagh. I mean, he's going to make everyone look crappy.
I don't know who that is.
He directed Thor.
I kind of remember that movie. Sally? The Thor movies are not, the pinnacle of what I would consider Marvel cinema.
No, I hear you.
Oh, Gilderoy Lockhart! I know exactly who that guy is then. Thank you, Sam.
Make the connection there? Nice.
Yep.
Who is Gilderoy Lockhart?
Lockhart, he is... Would you consider him the villain of the second Harry Potter book/movie?
Oh, no shit. He was in Harry Potter?
Yeah, he was in Harry Potter. He played the Defense Against the
Gilderoy Lockhart.
He played the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Oh. See, I mean, for a guy who is a master Shakespearean actor and also just heavy-duty dramatic actor, he's clearly stretching his wings and doing stuff. And, hey, Robert De Niro, pay attention how it's done, all right? You don't want to do the same old roles. You feel typecast. You don't want to get pigeonholed. You want to do some different stuff. Kenneth Branagh managed to do it and didn't destroy his credibility in the course of doing so.
Deuter antagonist. Is that what he was, Sam? Not the primary, but the secondary antagonist?
That was such a great moment, Snoopy, when I had no idea that Lawrence Fishburne was in that movie. In the John Wick movie.
Wasn't he the homeless guy?
Of sorts, yes.
The homeless guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just when the scene, when they first introduce him, like I'm just sitting there in the theater, again, complete surprised Easter egg for Polly moment. All of a sudden it cuts and there's Lawrence Fishburne going, laughing and go, it's been a long time since I've seen you. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. Like, it was great.
I still have yet to see the first John Wick movie. I've only seen the second one.
Matrix or John Wick?
John Wick.
Oh.
I have seen all of the Matrix movies. I barely remember the third one.
Yeah. There's a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you see Jada Pinkett with her early steps of domestic authoritarianism in action.
Oh my gosh. If I never hear anything about Jada Pinkett Smith ever again, it will be too soon.
You've heard like the recent things?
Everything I know about Jada and Will's marriage has been against my will.
I love Charlie's line, Moist Critical.
Yeah.
He's like, I've become obsessed with them. It's like watching the Kardashians, and I've never understood why people would follow Hollywood couples, but I get it now. I've become inexplicably, irrationally wanting to follow this because it's just the worst dumpster fire. Will Smith married his own worst Twitter troll. She's out there slagging him on social media nonstop, and he's married to this woman. Who marries their Twitter troll? That's a great way of describing it in Crazy Town.
Mm-hmm. It's I want her to leave him alone. Let the man be. Leave him to his devices. Let him be happy. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Just Will
But she
does
doesn't
not
have
deserve
anything to
this.
do other than to talk about Will Smith. So
If they're divorced, do we still call her Jada Pinkett Smith or just Jada Pinkett? She doesn't deserve the triple name notoriety, I think.
yes. I mean, they called her Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis long after she had divorced Aristotle Onassis. So, not that I'm trying to liken that slag to the other slag.
Ah. I don't think I got that reference, but I will just nod and pretend like I did.
Jacqueline Kennedy was married to John F. Kennedy, the president.
Yeah.
The guy whose head inexplicably exploded in Dallas
Yes.
for no reason.
For no reason.
Well, let it be known. I mean, I don't think there was any conspiracy. His head just did that.
You think, Polly? Heads just
Intracranial
explode.
pressure build up and pop.
Uh-huh. Pop or
spontaneous human-
implode.
It's like spontaneous human combustion.
Mm-hmm,
It's odd, it's rare, but it's documented and it happens.
Aha.
Yeah, anyway, after Kennedy's head exploded on its own, she grieved for a little while and then married a business shipping magnate billionaire by the name of Aristotle Onassis and thus became Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Let's be thankful that she didn't keep her maiden name, which in and of itself was highly prestigious, if a name could be prestigious, Bouvier. She was Jacqueline Bouvier. Can you imagine Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy Onassis? It's like, oh, God.
That's a lot of names. You just collect them all.
He did have a lot on his mind.
Eh.
So anyway, my thing about bringing up Shakespeare, I want
Right.
to see some right proper, well done Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, we should do this like right after I publish the Halloween special because it'll be like Roman history will be super fresh on my mind and it'll be topical. So that works.
I'm positive somebody had to have made it into a half decent movie.
Surely, right?
I would think. I can't think of one right now, but at a minimum, BBC probably did it at some point before, like hopefully it wasn't recently, where the entire Roman Senate is black and Asian.
Julius Caesar the movie. Let's find out. I spelled Julius wrong. The movie. Movie. There's a 1953 version. There's a 2002 version.
It's if a weight was suddenly lifted from his shoulders. Yeah. He was just relieved of all of his high pressure thoughts.
God damn it. What version of Julius Caesar is the best? 1953. Oh, no, the inferior. Out to be the inferior than classic film Julius Caesar. Alright, hold up. Nope.
I mean, Dave Fallon brings up the togas, and much like my thoughts on the hooded cloak needing to come back into fashion, the toga as well needs to come back into fashion. Wonderful men's fashion. It's been not a couple thousand years. I mean, Justinian still wore a toga over in Byzantium, Constantinople. That was that lasted quite some time. They were wearing togas all the way into reclaim Constantinople. That's all I'm saying.
Actually, women's fashion is bringing back the wrap dress, which is basically just a woman's toga.
Say it again? I didn't.
Women's fashion is bringing back the wrap dress, which is essentially just a woman's toga.
bare bow arm and all.
So the wrap dress, the idea behind the concept is you have a skirt and then like two long clothy attachments for
Okay.
at the top of the skirt that can wrap around the torso and arms in any way that you want. And a lot of the different styles here are reminiscent of a toga. Wrap.
Dang, if we could talk about stolen land all over the place and people that are unfairly occupying a territory, blah, 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 then Constantinople forever, baby. Just saying.
Wrap infinity dress.
See, that's why I should never serve on a presidential cabinet or attempt to do diplomacy in the international sphere in any kind of way.
Yeah.
Are you going to support us in our fight against the Israeli occupiers? I don't know. Are you going to convince your Arab friends on the UN Council to put it in the wind and get out of Constantinople for its rightful Christian inhabitants? I didn't think so.
See, look at the infinity dress. Isn't it pretty? And all of the different ways that you can style it. Just lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Toga-esque is...
It can be
What is
toga-esque. It depends on the way that you style it.
Now, toga already ending in the A, it would make me think that it was feminine to begin with. What's a female toga called? Is it just toga? That doesn't seem right.
What is the feminine word for toga?
Dan Fleming, very, very close. His brain disappeared from the National Archive. So, yeah, kind of his head disappeared.
It's called a stole or stola. It's also called a vestis
stole.
longa in Latin literary sources, pointing to its length.
I don't think I've ever heard that word before. I wonder if that's where a fur stole comes from.
Was a traditional garment of Roman women
It's
corresponding
because
to a toga
motherfuckers stole them all the time.
called the vestis longa, which, corresponds to the goddess Vesti or Vesta? It's Vesta. No. First identified on the statues of Margaret Biber. 3rd century BC, but the form of the garment is common in the Mediterranean world, and so it is much older. Nice.
See, Snoopy, that's exactly what I thought.
Hi.
The brain disappeared because you'd be able to follow the track of the various bullet wounds, and like you said, be able to determine exactly how many bullets were fired, and especially, the track of the bullet wound. Like, no, obviously it came from the back. Here's the point of entry and exit. You can't really tell that because they buried the body under concrete, whatnot, But
Are we talking about your Kennedy not assassination theory again?
yeah, and it's just his head just doing that.
Yeah.
They didn't want, there really wasn't much of a brain left. It had kind of like blown out all over Dealey Plaza. So
it internally just exploded.
Yeah. Imagine the shock when they find out that the explosion was from the inside out.
I wonder
Mass hysteria.
what causes such a thing.
Well, who knows? It's like, whatchamacallit, a spontaneous combustion.
You couldn't even begin to conceive of a reason for why a brain might spontaneously explode.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think Six might have been onto something. He just had a lot of heavy-duty thoughts on his mind, and pressure built. The man did drink. He took a lot of drugs, medications, because of his extremely sore back and whatnot, and, doubtless addiction. Yeah. He continually wore a back brace from his injury during the war. Being a PT boat commander, had injured his back quite badly. So he often, though not always, wore a back brace. But yeah, he had a lot of medical issues and had been sickly since he was a kid. And Mom, damn it. She's the Kennedy obsessive. I just had to hear about it my whole life.
Your mom was the Kennedy obsessed one?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the whole clan of them, man. She knows all the And I've tried arguing to her. Mom, do you realize that what you're doing is very monarchical here? Americans not having a monarchy, you're obsessing over dynastic families.
Is this her Roman Empire?
Yeah. Well, my mom gets interested in that, like multi-generational family dramatics and whatnot, and lots of Kennedy-focused people out there. But there's a reason I can tell you all about Joe Kennedy's wrongdoings and his association with Sam Giancana, and oh God, yeah, it was Marilyn Monroe. That's right. Any crazy lady's enough to make a man's head explode. Am I right, Sam? Yeah.
Oh my god.
So did you discover which Julius Caesar was the best one to watch?
It looks like the 1953 version. Considered definitely the best version available, being completely directed by Joseph L. McKenwick. McKenniewicz? Mankiewicz?
Mankiewicz? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
common name, but
Is it?
no, is Mankiewicz is, yeah, that's a pretty regular,
And it's
pretty common Jewish name. Yeah.
Marlon Brando, Louis Calhern, Greer Garrison, James
Oh,
Mason.
you know who that guy is? There's a if you ever saw him, you'd probably recognize him. His son, Mankiewicz's son, is on the Young Turks and also has the last name Mankiewicz.
Mm-hmm.
He hosts Turner Classic Movies
Yeah.
sometimes, and he is actually very knowledgeable about film. But then you see him over on the Young Turks, and you find out he's a flaming, unapologetic pinko.
Wait,
And
who is
it's-
this?
That director's son. And it's just sad that a guy who's as knowledgeable about noir film and classic era, golden era Hollywood and whatnot that he is, and his own father is this famous director, and he's just this. He's a wealthy champagne socialist pinko. Is there any worse kind?
The dictatory kind that overthrows a democracy?
Point well taken. Is there any second worst kind?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little harder than
No,
I
yeah,
just did.
fair enough. I didn't specify, like, in terms of. No, obviously, I think you're right. That is the worst kind of communist that there is. The Bolshevik kind, who have coups and
Right.
reigns of terror and whatnot.
Yeah, reign of terror about it.
Yeah, the Stalins and whatnot. Not that he was an actual socialist; he was just a power realist, and not to mention quite insane. But in terms of in a a Western liberal democracy, guys like that, the Hassan Pikers, that exist entirely by the freedoms and rights afforded in a Western liberal democracy, and then spend all of their time trying to tear it down from the inside, while being a millionaire about it.
Hassan. He's not given the greatest of coverage in the last was it 2 weeks or so? I will say.
I see a lot of possibilities in this, Weebo.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll last, but that's the cynic in me talking. But if the pattern holds, it won't last. But people pulling their funding where people are extending it beyond, it's not just their take on Israel-Palestine. It's not just their bizarre support of so-called Palestine. Blah, 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 and apologetics for them. This is part of a woke agenda. How did we even arrive here where college students are supported by professors who are trumpeting this shit? It's not just this. It's transgenderism. It's pinko politics. It's pronouns. It's you name it, and everything being racist and supporting riots in the streets during Summer of Love and all that. It's all coming from the same thing. And so people withdrawing their financial support. Nothing will hit a university harder or make them change their mind faster. Do you think that any of us would be putting up with a considerable portion, I'm not trying to say most, of the crap that we are, if it weren't for BlackRock, George Soros, several equity investment firms that have DEI criteria for their investment money lending and what AIG used to do, like corporate insurance and stuff for investment failure. You can't do the kind of business that's done large scale financing without that kind of corporate support. And that's the way that it works. And when they have woke criteria set up, no, you can't get away with that. You can't be a university with $1 billion endowment. And equity firms have pulled their fucking support from University of Pennsylvania largely, a few from Harvard, but a few isn't enough, a whole bunch. Those are the positive things I see. Push more of it. Do you realize it's not like it's stray Palestinian students or Muslim students who have a bizarre fixation with Palestine's plight, even though none of those countries are willing to take any refugees from Palestine? Suspicious. Saudi Arabia, are you going to take them? No. Egypt, are you going to take them? No. How about you, Jordan? No. But you won't shut up in the UN about denouncing Israel's evil actions and attempts at genocide, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it is recognized as part of an overall woke thing and cancer that has been growing inside of American universities. And I'm like, okay, you're partially correct. Inside of Western universities, because let's not act like it's not happening throughout the whole Anglosphere, Australia, Canada, Britain, it is. I'd be willing to bet Germany and France as well, leaving the Anglosphere. But I'd like to see it turn that bad. Yeah, let's pull all our money. Fuck them.
I've taken this opportunity, actually, in the wake of all of this nonsense, to do like a really, really substantive deep dive into the history of the region, just because, like, I don't personally know anything about it, the conflict, in any capacity, because I've never needed to, right? So I'm slowly working my way through the histories and the conflicts to get a little bit better versed in how we got here, because I feel like there's a lot of context that I have not gotten, if that makes sense. Like, how did we get from point A to point B? Where did this all arrive from? Does that make sense?
Yeah. If one is a very simple... I got a strong opinion on you can't hold somebody responsible for not knowing something.
Right.
That's retarded. Well, you didn't know this? Yeah, they didn't know it. And I just don't know. What's the criticism? What the problem is for me is when somebody claims that I understand this situation, but then doesn't know jack.
Right.
That's the problem. Oh, I'm offering an authoritative opinion, but understand little to nothing about the actual situation. Oh, well, what? I have to be an absolute expert to have an opinion? You have to be knowledgeable to have an opinion that shouldn't get you laughed out of the room. Yes, and I will hold to that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know fuck all about the situation in the Middle East. Oh, what, I gotta have a university degree? No, you just have to have some kind of information where you're not a complete retard on the subject.
Right. I think I said something a couple weeks ago about, like, I think I reserve something to the effect of, unless you've, like, gone as far as paying for actual studies on a subject, specifically about, like, psychology, but I guess this can be applicable to other, like, areas. Unless you've done the deep dive enough that you've gotten to the point where you pay for the study on the subject that you want to form an opinion about, I don't know that I can actually take anyone else's opinion on a subject seriously. I don't know that I can actually purport my own opinion on a subject at this point, because I have had a lot of interactions with people who run their mouth about things that they don't quite understand. And I've gotten to the point in my life where I know that I don't know things, and I don't feel confident enough. I don't have the Dunning-Kruger in me to purport that I know more than I actually do based off of, like, 5 seconds of reading. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it does.
And I've arrived at that perspective after growing a little bit since college.
Weebo's matured.
Significantly, yes. I'm there's like a, in specifically computer science, there's this like trend of computer scientists who goes from like, I've had one computer science course and now I know everything. And then you slowly begin to realize as you continue on your journey in computer science that you actually don't know anything. And the more that you learn, the less you know about computer science until you get to the point where you're like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. There is like an entire molehill that, or mountain here that I've not even like begun to ascend. And then eventually in your career, not only do you understand the thing, but you could probably explain it pretty decently. But then even then you appreciate the fact that there are aspects of computer science that you've never even touched with a 10-foot pole that you wouldn't understand, so you wouldn't even begin to extrapolate on how that thing works. So I don't know. It's just the more that you know, the less the more that you internalize information-wise, the more you realize the less that you know.
I mean,
It's kind of wild.
Snoopy makes a point that the original computer programmers did not have a college degree in programming, and I don't think that. I mean, I bring up the degree thing as a like a go-to reference that somebody might make, and I have heard them make it, but not always. Can somebody be informed on the topic? As far as reading the Wikipedia page, I'm talking about nothing more than that. If you know what I mean, like people haven't even done that. Explain to me, not to me, to anyone, to yourself, why Israel is viewed by as an occupational force from one side, and make the case for it in just a few points. I'm not saying write a paper on it. Just give me a couple of reasons why some people see them as an occupying force, and the other side do not see them as that. If you can't explain that, you really shouldn't be commenting on this whole thing, because that's ground level. Like that's the terra firma of the whole fucking thing. If you don't have that, well, I've heard people express the idea that it's not our concern, meaning America. It's not our concern. And some people who have made that point can back it up. And I'm not talking a lengthy series of analyses backed up by, quantitative data. They just simply said, here's why, this is why I think that, etc. And then other people say that, and it's a giant cop-out thing to make it sound like they're extreme centrist. Something like a Dendra would do. No offense, I like him. He just tends to take the extreme centrist position where it's like, left, right, they're all wrong. And then let me give you...
They're all tribalistic, and I think that lends itself to a certain level of bias towards one set of facts over the other, if I'm being quite frank.
You could take one side or the other. Well, I'm on America's side. Oh, yeah? So am I. How so? And like I said, I've heard some people take a non-interventionist, it's not a fair term, but I'm going to say isolationist perspective on it. And that's not unreasonable. I get where you're coming from. I get what you mean. Why get involved in this? It's not our fight, etc. Their reasons for it make sense. And like I said, they didn't write a paper on it. They just kind of said why, and there you go. And that's a valid opinion. I find it reasonable. I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to say that the person's stupid or should shut up or anything of the kind. Where other people say it, and it's a complete cop-out. They just want to sound like they've got an idea. Oh, America shouldn't get involved. Why? Well, it's just, let them fight it out until they kill each other. It's not two guys fighting it out in a park somewhere,
Yeah.
Look, you just made that. One can always hear it, I think, when somebody just made up an explanation on the spot. Well, I don't know, just and something, they spit it out, and it's like, yo, bro, you have no fucking idea. And you don't have to have an idea. Just say, I don't have any strong opinions on this. Okay, there it is. I'm not going to pressure you. But don't be offering fucking opinions if you can't back them up, man.
For real.
Anything. That's not so much to ask, is it? And for the people people say, well, okay, I'm on America's side. Okay, so you don't want America involved. Fair enough, I get that. Can you agree with me on this minimum thing? America should be involved to the extent to the release of American hostages. Because if America cannot defend her citizens, what the fuck is the point in all of the tax money and governance and military projection force we have?
Yeah. That seems like at the very least something that should be done. Like,
I
At the
mean,
very
that
least.
should be the core minimum of America's interest is the protection of her citizens.
Mm-hmm.
They're being held by a bunch of fucking jihadis. Okay, you don't see them as jihadis. Okay, they're being held by a bunch of righteous resistance fighters. Whatever. The point is, they're American
We want them
citizens.
back.
Yeah, it's. I don't
Can
know.
we have them, please?
Yeah, and then when we get them back, yeah, disengage. Okay, that's a. Like I
That's
said,
a reasonable perspective.
I don't find get them back, and then we're no longer involved any further than we absolutely need to be because of treaty obligations or whatever the hell, but nothing more than that.
Mm-hmm.
That's reasonable. I might not agree with it, but I'm not going to say the person's stupid for thinking so. It's, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Oh God, the internet where everyone's got to go extreme, man. I hate it.
Right? Do you think if you could like go back in time and pinpoint exactly the moment when like the internet would have come into fruition and not like just pushed a button or like threw away a sheet of paper and prevented the invention of the internet from ever taking place, would you do that?
We could be doing all of this on ham radio, Weebo.
Dude, but serious, we could.
It's not that hard to set up a ham radio antenna in your backyard.
Hey.
Some ropes in a car, and you can just, it's easier than raising a barn. And the Amish can do that. Are you saying you're more inept than an Amishman? Assuming Amishman is a word?
No, I feel like it could be pretty capable given,
I mean, I can't churn butter, but I have a
Yes, you
grocery
can.
store.
Anyone can churn butter. You just need time and upper arm strength.
Shortwave, long wave radio. Thank you, Saniko. That's a good point.
There you go. Ham radio or pork radio?
Yeah, what's your 20, Weebo? Yeah. And you can't have the most private conversations in the world as people are relaying your signal.
We're already
over...
not having a private conversation, probably, so what's the diff?
Good point. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Somebody said something that was a solid question. Nobody ever answers this, so I'm going to do it.
What?
Marson Johnson. I've always been reading that Johnson. I hate when I butcher people's name. Johansson. Apologies. Realistically, though, what would your plan be to extract them? Do you negotiate? Do you deploy military force to extract them? Okay.
Ooh.
Here's the raw truth of it. From my perspective, as it stands right now, full-on support for what the IDF is doing in terms of on-the-ground invasion of Gaza, because they have doubtlessly, according to their own approach to holding hostages before, don't all hold them in the one place, move them around to various places where you do not want military strikes to be occurring, where airstrikes are likely to occur. The human shield. Well, yeah, of course, because it would be a major PR coup, and I don't mean public relations like a Hollywood actor goes after it. Obviously, I know you guys get that, but imagine the IDF killed an American citizen in one of their strikes. That would be awful. UN Security Council would line up. America might distance itself. Well, you know what? I say support the IDF in going in with the very strong awareness of who you're going up against. Promote it meaning speak of it. Not the House Plant in Chief, because he's not going to be able to do this and make any sense. So, remember the Joint Chiefs or whoever. Secretary of State Blinken, I mean, that guy's blinking red, man. Ready for a 404 error with him. That we see no other way to get those hostages out. We are not going to negotiate. As soon as we start to negotiate, there has to be a ceasefire declared. Hamas is not going to negotiate while they're being threatened upon. That is the whole reason they took the hostages to begin with, to have the leverage advantage of don't attack us unless you want these people dead. It's the reason, kill all of the elderly, the children, and the women, and take the men hostage, or the other way around, sorry. Kill the fighting age men and the elderly, and then take the children and the women hostages, which is exactly what they did. They made sure to take a wide range of people, like an international group of people, as people suggest, and it's not known, but it's a reasonable enough suggestion that why attack a music festival, because there's likely to be a lot of tourists there, and it was reasonably closely located to where they were coming in to begin with. So ripe target, right? Because you want international people, not just a bunch of Israeli citizens, not just a bunch of Jewish citizens
Right, because then
of Israel.
external parties have a vested interest in your
Yeah.
activity and whether or not the retaliation is detrimental to their citizens as well. It's a
Right.
strategic move.
As the
much
old
as
saying of
anything.
terrorists goes, you force people to sit down in extra seats at the negotiation table.
Exactly.
But so negotiation isn't really an option there because it would require forcing Israel to not engage with their military actions, which they already are. And even if America said don't do this, they're going to do it anyway. It's like, well, cut off all support for them then. Again, remember, the hostages, the goal is to get them out of there. Now you're going to cut off all support for a nation that is, one, the lone democracy in the area, and your most reasonable means of getting your own citizens back. They are in extreme danger. There's no other way to put it. Kennedy had the balls to do it when it came to Cuba. I know it sounds like I'm off topic, but hear me out. He had the balls to say, we might have to militarily engage Cuba. This could mean deaths. This could mean the loss of American lives. Yeah, it's not a pretty situation. There's going to be a lot of dead Palestinians and Hamas goddamn well knew that. And that's the way you put it. They put their own people at risk by doing this. They had to know that there was going to be a retaliation, not out of revenge, but an ability to project power into the region to destroy your ability to do what you did again. Oh, well, what does it matter? Because another jihadi force like Islamic Jihad or a splinter group of Hezbollah is going to take over there. So the response is to what? Do nothing? That's not viable. Israel's under an existential threat. If America had rockets being launched into it from across the Mexican border by cartels, do you think America would fucking wait or listen to the UN Security Council about don't go in and take out the cartels because another cartel might take them over? Oh, Sinaloa cartel, if they're wiped out, then the Aztecas will just come in. Oh, fuck that. Whack-a-mole them. At least there'll be a range of peace until you can get it, and there will be a new security regime in the area. There are limited options, Marcin, in my opinion, and none of them are very good. The best one forward, sorry for yakking about it, but just to kind of create some context around is, prepare the American population that we are going to support this. Why? Because our citizens are being held ransom and is directly to try and force the hand of a great power, namely us, into acting on their behalf and get us to capitulate to their terrorist demands. This is terrorism, full stop. Well, fuck that. We need to get them back, and we're going to do everything we can, and we're going to bring our full technical assets to bear, meaning satellite forces and detection to be able to make the strikes as targeted as humanly possible and get those people back. Not all of them might make it back. Unfortunately, over 1,000 people didn't make it back from a music festival or from the kibbutz they were at or just walking down the street in a given neighborhood. That's what happens when you're faced with murderous scumfucks. I don't really know. There's no good way out of it. It just seems that people act like there is some possible way. If you just act nicely and call them Palestinians and say that they're being occupied, somehow they're going to give you your hostages back. No. They won't. So the only way to force them back through military, forcibly get them back through military action, even though it might result in some collateral damage. No need to euphemize. Some of those hostages might end up dead. But they're never going to let them go until they get everything they want. They're never going to get everything they want. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do? Israel? It's not viable.
There is no path forward through negotiation.
Yeah. I hope that whole mess made some kind of sense and just wasn't rambling. But
It did make sense. And yeah,
time for Space Force to shine. Death from orbit. Did you ever think there's a reason to not let China get into space exploration?
There's plenty of reason to not let China get into space exploration.
Orbital weapon platforms? I'm sure they're not thinking about that at all.
Oh my gosh.
And besides, as soon as you start to negotiate, as people say, it's open season on Americans worldwide. Yeah. As if it's not already in that region. Travel advisories to go nowhere near the West Bank or Gazan border.
I don't know why you would go there in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, going into Jerusalem, you could have a coffee stand explode in your face as a tourist who's there on a religious pilgrimage. You know what I mean? And it's, welcome to living in Jerusalem if you're an Israeli. fuck. Imagine how they think. So I do actually have a lot of sympathy for the argument of this isn't our fight. I don't see why it involves us. Someone on the AAA brought that point up, and it got me into talking about it, where it's like, I don't think that's unreasonable in saying that. But America is involved largely in two ways. One, most importantly, the American citizens that are being held there. And number two, in what it's doing inside the United States, with members of Congress supporting a terrorist organization, with riots not riots, but attempts to injure other students. We're going to break into the library at this university just so we can threaten and harangue some Jewish students there that are U.S. citizens. What the fuck are you doing? None of them were arrested. They don't even want to identify them. The president of the university issued a statement that, while it's true that the protest did go through the library, there were no students. There was no direct evidence of students being under threat at any time. There's video of them trying to bang the fucking door down, and the only people that are in there, you can't miss it, they're all wearing veils or yarmulkes, or just the head covering over the top of the head that some Jewish women wear. It's a whole bunch of Jews. The only people hiding are the Jews. Well, why do you think that all those Palestinian supporters are fucking banging on the library doors saying, "Bring them out, let us have them"? If the university professor really didn't think that this was any kind of a threat, then why did she have security personnel secretly escort her off of campus for her own protection? You lying bitch.
Was this like within the last 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, but like within the last week or so? I don't think I saw anything about this.
Yes, it was. Last 4 days.
Oh, okay.
It was Thursday.
I've been holed up in my Google Docs writing my Halloween piece, so I have not paid a lot of attention. And working. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I had a deployment this week that occupied like all of my free time too. So I've been a busy Weebo.
Yeah. So how does it relate to us? Only insofar as American hostages and the tumult or fuckery that it's causing within our own borders because of the, well, I don't know if fifth column is the right word, but I know Sam would probably say it is.
Okay.
Enemies within the gate, that sort of jazz.
Yeah. Like I said, I am waiting to form any mega super opinions about the whole situation before until I've done a thorough, decent job of deep diving into the history on the subject. At the very least, yeah. Can we get our people back, please and thank? That seems like a reasonable beginner's take at the very least. I would want someone to have that take if I were taken hostage in a foreign country.
You'd want someone to have... Oh, sorry, what?
I would want someone to, at the minimum, be like, hey, can we get Weebo back if I were taken hostage in a foreign country? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't accept arguments of, well, they shouldn't have gone there in the first place. Oh,
what? Oh my gosh.
What is that? I'm not making that up. I've heard a number of people say that. Usually Palestine supporters. And it's, oh, come on, man. If a country can't protect its citizens, what the hell? And when I say can't, it's like, okay, it's very, as I said, it's very, very challenging to protect them in this situation. Well, yeah, that's exactly why they took them.
Mm-hmm. It makes total sense from a strategic standpoint, obviously, but it sucks.
The assassin in the gray's got to go. He's like, hand over our people or you cease to exist. It's like, we are not negotiating on this point, and I'm not going to get into arguments about we don't negotiate with terrorists. It's like, we will fucking end you. One dead American citizen turns up, and there is no point for any point anywhere into the future where we will not crush you wherever you show up. Forever.
It was really nice to have that
It's
kind of
like
level of
GTFO.
security.
That's you. I mean, that's the kind.
Well, that's really comforting.
That's the kind of region of the world where they respond to oratory and no. But when you have an administration that just dropped billions of dollars into the hand of Iran for the very weak, distant, remote possibility of them becoming another power pole in the region or whatever space cadet fucking idea the previous administration had come up with. Oh, you geniuses. That's it. Pay billions of dollars for hostages. You want to talk about declaring open season? Motherfuck.
Sorry, someone brought up Gonzalo Lira in the chat, and I do have to ask: have we heard about CRP recently? Is he okay?
Last we heard, yeah, he's in Ukrainian prison.
We talked about this last cocktail hour, didn't we?
Yep, nothing has changed since then.
Okay.
That I did look into it, and the last news is he ain't getting no bond, basically bail, because he's already violated his bond twice, and the second time he violated it, he
publicized it.
Yeah, in the most cartoon, stepping on a rake manner, tried hopping over to the Hungarian side of the border.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, so they absolutely revoked his bond and will not be giving him another one. So that means he's there until the case is adjudicated out. And something tells me that Ukrainian courts aren't moving terribly fast, well, at any time, but especially now.
Yeah, they seem a little bit preoccupied.
Yeah, they're feeling jilted.
It's a little bit.
There's a new girl in town that's being paid attention to. What about us? Fucking Zelensky.
I have not been following the Ukraine situation. I only follow the Coach Red Pill situation. Because, I don't know. That's my Roman Empire. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's you're talking about like citizens of the United States should be released. It's like Gonzo's still there, right?
We get Gonzo back.
Yeah, but he's not in a Russian prison. He's in a Ukrainian prison, and they're the allies that are receiving billions upon billions of our tax dollars. So it's kind of like he's safe, right? It's, I don't know, man. Weebo, would you want to be in a Ukrainian prison?
I don't think I'd want to be in any prison.
Well, okay,
actually,
that's fair.
no. You know what? If I were to go to prison, I think I would be the alpha top dog. For real, for real.
Have you seen the prison that? Oh, damn it! I forgot her name, and I had it right on the tip of my brain. She was the CEO and founder of Theranos, the fake tech startup that could, with a very, very small vial of blood, be able to perform all sorts of hematological tests, and it was all a giant scam. The tech didn't work. It was fucking lies. She dressed up like Steve Jobs and spoke with this fake deep voice.
Oh! I think I know who you're talking about, but only vaguely.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason I bring up the prison she went to, we'd both be happy going to that prison. It's better than our house.
Really?
Oh man.
It doesn't have any leaky bits, or it does.
Yeah. Or rent. They have their own chefs. They got three red clay tennis courts. We could brush up on our polo game. Or learn to play it at all.
I'll learn to play polo. If I got all the time in the world, let's go.
Sounds like the best steal, right? I don't think they're clamped in irons at the end of every day. They don't have jail cells. They have dormitories. Each their own individual room with a locking door. I mean, they have the key to. Wow.
Is it pronounced Bastille or is it pronounced Bastille? Sam, help me out here.
I don't know. I gotta claim ignorance.
I thought
it was Bastille, but I might have just been Americanizing the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Neither. Oh, we both wrong.
But I know people say like club fed and so on. I get the prisons in a lot of ways are organized around security risks. Not in every way. I understand that. But like if people are a bunch of white collar criminals, meaning like the chances of them committing a violent act against somebody else are like non-existent. Yeah, extreme low security prisons are a good idea. Why they have the amenities they have, that's what I don't understand. That's full retarded.
Are they paying for the pleasure of being locked up? Like, for the stay? For the mandatory stay? Do you think? Or no?
You know what? I would actually like to know more about that. Why hasn't some industrious person on YouTube done not a deep dive, because most of the research done on YouTube is actually just repeating Wikipedia and Reddit subreddits, but do people that go to club-fed prisons, are they personally paying for all of those amenities? Like, meaning access to the tennis court, the only reason it was built because some billionaire decided to have it built when he was serving 2 years there back in the day or whatever? Like, is it extremely expensive to live that lifestyle there? And if you don't have money, but you do end up there for embezzling 10 grand from your boss or whatever, but you're not really rich, you're actually living a pretty, yes, low security, but you're not getting foie gras for breakfast. I don't know. I'd actually be really curious about that.
Well, let's take a gander in the last couple of minutes here. Because it's getting to be pumpkin time.
Basti. The E's blend into one another like the Spanish ill sound. Weebo Jones.
Basti.
I'm terrible at reading phonetics, man. It's like
Basti.
Basti.
Like the Spanish double L. Not
Oh, LL, not L. Okay. All right. Yeah.
No, he's gonna have to say it to me. He's gonna have to like say it at me so that I can actually hear it. Because phonetics, like with my eyeballs, is not. I can't make it happen. Sam, I'll pull you in. Hop in. I need to
Henry
know.
V, directed by Kenneth Branagh. I've never seen Henry V read it, seen it as a player movie or read it. I don't even know what happens. You?
Henry V, directed by. I know that Henry
Billy
hence
Shakes.
his second wife, right? All right, Sam. How do you say it?
Oh, hello, sorry. Muting the stream. Bastille.
Bessie.
Yes.
Okay, I was closer.
You mean in everyday conversation, people really hold them E's like that?
Yeah, like my family, ma famille.
Eesh.
Huh.
Yeah. Like Spanish.
Euro languages, man.
Yeah.
Latin languages, Polly. Latin languages.
Is this your Roman Empire?
Always the Roman Empire.
Indeed. The glory of
Anyway.
Rome is forever, naturally.
Agreed.
That's not for the ladies.
Yeah. No togas for you. Only Stoli.
Excuse me.
Stoli's only. Oh, see, so that was my idea. Dress up in a toga for Halloween, and then just don't
Don't
not
stop.
after that. Yeah, and people will say, "Dude, Halloween's over." What do you mean? Well, you were dressed up in a toga for Halloween.
And?
What? I don't understand. No, this is the way I dress now. I just
Polly, you have been talking about trends that you wish would make a comeback for forever now. I'm just, I'm challenging you this Halloween, all right, to just take the leap, make the statement, be the trendsetter that I know you can be, all right? Wear whatever you want. If you want it to be like a cape with a hood, do it. All right? If you want it to be a toga, slay queen. You got this. I believe in you. Make the fashion statement come back.
Well, I've been on the internet long enough to understand that you can actually, one can often push people to do things through reverse psychology. See, what I need to do is just become a Hassan Piker level obnoxious bastard, radiate angering annoyance across the internet, and then start screaming how nobody should ever wear a toga, and then it'll happen. Huh?
You could do that.
Stupid like a fox.
The
You could
the
do that.
important part, the important thing, I think, Polly, would be to make sure that you get caught wearing a toga behind closed doors.
What?
No, I
Yeah.
see where his logic is, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's the forbidden
about
toga, then people want to wear it all the more.
Mm-hmm. And
But
the
it-
hypocrisy. People go,
Upton
"Oh,
says,
the hypocrisy."
Polly, I don't think you could hold up your left arm all the time. Yeah, it would get a little annoying, but I mean, think of the advantage. Sam, it's a whole new era of concealed carry.
Oh, it is.
Right? It's
Think
right.
about
It's
this.
right there. Be it thin, stabby dagger for tyrants or semi-automatic handgun.
You guys
And
can
just-
bring back the oh my god, the thigh strap. There we go.
Oh, we should absolutely bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
But
You
just
just
put
hide
your
it
thumb
underneath your toga, and then you just like
Just
hike
have
it
a
up,
belt
pull it
loop.
out, go nuts.
Just have a belt loop on your toga so you can hook your thumb through it like a cowboy, and that will hold your left arm up. Easy.
And it's loose fitting. You could have more guns on you than John Wick and Neo combined.
Imagine if Rome had never fallen.
Yeah.
I'm getting to that part in my assessment.
Catholicism is wonderful.
That it truly is part of the reason, isn't it? No. No, I still need to do more of a
Oh,
deep
I thought
dive
you
before I
froze.
say. No.
Oh, shit.
I was just
You want me to
thinking.
fill some space, Weebo? You want me to fill
Weebo
some
went
space?
full on statuesque and pondering. That was amazing. I really thought she froze. I just,
Yeah, I
Like
can
the
do
Lady
that.
Vesta herself.
Indeed. I tried wrapping a bed sheet to see if like it would work as a toga. It doesn't. The bed sheet was too long. I was gonna trip.
It's because she's short.
No, it's a queen size bed sheet.
Well,
I got to look that up online. I don't even know how to wrap up a toga and what it looks like when it's laying down. Like, if you know what I mean. Is it just a pile of square sheets? I have no idea now that I think about it.
It's one long length of cloth.
Oh.
Much like a kilt.
It's a mega kilt.
It's a dress. It's the infinity dress. Like I said,
You think you
the
wouldn't
girls
mind
are
if I go in an all purple toga? I mean, it got Caesar stabbed, but
With red boots.
I don't know that that's the thing that got Caesar stabbed. Definitely the part about
it
him
is.
declaring himself dictator for life probably played a larger role.
According to the propaganda of the time, the fact that he started strolling around in red boots and wearing lots of purple was contributed to the notion that he was styling himself a king.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had
we know how Rome feels
sash,
about
right,
kings.
for senators. Yeah, as they often say, that the most dangerous word in Roman politics was king. And it's like, I'm not a king. Yeah, I've got a throne in the center of the Senate, but it's not a throne. It's a chair.
I'm a
It's a highly
consul.
ornate chair.
I'm dictator for life. I'm emperor. Okay, Jan. Caesar got the point 23 times, in fact.
Nice. Nice.
Kilts are still skirts. And you know what? That just proves my assessment that the whole, like, feminine coded thing is just a whole bunch of hooey made up. Because
It's a social construct.
It's a social construct, exactly. The feminine and the masculine are just social constructs. They don't matter. Break free. You can be whatever you want to be. So anyway, it is pumpkin time.
Oh, yeah.
Quite
Oh, yeah, it
literally,
is. Look
quite
at that.
exactly pumpkin time. So
Yeah. I was looking at the clock. There we go.
we need to wrap this up.
Very good. Very good.
I think I will let Sam go first as to shilling whatever it is that he wants to shill. Sam, do you want to shill anything before we head out?
Oh, shilling. Oh, God, I suck at this, Weebo.
I know, that's why I'm
He
making you
does,
go
it's
first.
true.
I'm really awful. Yeah,
What-
no. Noir bar coming up, right, Polly?
Let's go.
There is a noir bar coming up, yeah. And we just did one, too.
Hey.
We did.
It wasn't well received, but whatever it is.
Womp, womp.
It went down like a warm beer.
Hey, you can do it.
Cloudy and European?
Oof.
How dare you?
Fair.
There'll be no wine for your
Well, he really
water,
is terrible at this.
He is, yeah.
so That's pretty much all I've got to shill at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm working on some super secret stuff, also related to
Ooh.
Noir Bar.
Ooh.
Musically inclined, and atmospheric. But yeah, that's
Nice.
Yeah, it's I'm constrained by time. unfortunately. As indeed we all are.
Yeah.
But that concludes my shilling.
All right.
Mhm.
Polly, you next.
Well, in my never-ending quest to annoy as many people on the internet as possible, create enemies everywhere I go or am heard, and lose as many subscribers as possible in the slowest amount of time, in the shortest amount of time, I will be producing some short new edited videos as well as annoying people on live streams who will show up to subsequently unsubscribe after listening to the crap that I have to spew forth. So you have all of that to look forward to.
Very good, very good, very good.
Mostly far.
Yeah.
And hopefully I won't malign Sam and Far too much because they create content worth listening to. And Weebo, of course, I like to stink up her channel as often as possible. Admittedly, I haven't been able to stink it up as much as we have in the past because we're just getting back to cocktail hour. But I will lower her sub count too.
Oh, it's okay. You don't have to.
But it's part of my plan.
Well, maybe just leave that part out. I like
What
my
about you,
sub
Weebo?
counts above 10,000.
Other than Weeboween.
So other than on the Halloween special, which will be airing on Halloween, there is a chance that there will be an out-of-character side quest on the Wicked Guild channel, but it all really depends on how many trick-or-treaters we get the day of, because this is my first Halloween on a side quest day in my new home, and so I'm expecting there to be trick-or-treaters, so I don't want to have to, like, get up, answer the door every 5 seconds, and, hop out of the stream every time that happens, so we shall see. I suspect that we'll get some, I just don't know how many and what that's going to look like, so I'm going to have to play it by ear. Other than that, Halloween special, next week cocktail hour, and then after October, we're going into November, and I have to decide which of the ongoing projects that are overly verbose I need to finish and release now, eventually. Unless something else catches my fancy before then, in which case, that'll take precedence. But I have a lot of side projects for the channel that I'm working on that are just taking too freaking long because I in the classic Weebo way of overdoing things, I'm overdoing it, and I need to calm the fuck down. I don't need to make it.
Never apologize for your ambition, Weebo.
I'm not apologizing to you guys. I'm apologizing to myself because I am the only one that suffers.
Yeah, reasonable.
It's a struggle, but I'm working on it. So yeah, I'll probably have something at the end of the month. Not this month, the next month. I'll have something at the end of November that pops up on your timeline. But other than that, gaming streams. I'm thinking of doing a scary movie gaming stream on, like, Thursday, if all goes well with the Halloween special, just to kind of unwind and chill the fuck out after the weekend that I've had and the week I've had. So, yeah, that's what I got coming up in the pipeline.
Brilliant stuff. Looking forward to the 5 nights at Weebo's.
Oh, God. You and Super Nintendo both. He's planning on scaring me while I'm playing scary games. It's gonna be so great. I love it. Fantastic. Anyway, and that's my story. And on that note, shall we close it out, gentlemen?
Sure.
All right. Mm-hmm. How do I close it out? What did I say? What do we... Oh my God, I forgot.
Thank you for coming by. We appreciate your donations. Check us out next time. Same order, same face, same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you for coming by. We appreciate all of your monies. Come back next time. Same place, same time, same order, same face. Oh my gosh, I fucked it up. And we need to get back into this swing of things. Polly, this is unacceptable. I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah. A more regular streaming time, and we are getting back into that. I mean, this is
I need to get back into, like, the outro. I need to figure out the outro again because I've forgotten the whole thing.
Yeah, that too. Well, we're just getting back into the swing of things. It'll work out, and we'll get your sub count lower as we go on. Don't worry.
Oh joy, thanks. Well, yeah, you heard it here. Bye guys. Later.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you for your patronage.